welcome you to the Pacific Northwest, where we round out the USL League One semifinals from the Lilac City. It is Spokane Velocity hoping to reach its second straight final against a Portland side that hopes to continue its dream inaugural season. We say hello and welcome from One Spokane Stadium alongside the former League One veteran Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Sam Goldfarb. This is your look at the current state of the USL League One bracket. The winner of this one, a date with the Players' Shield winners in Knoxville a week from today. Well, Ricky, hard-fought wins for both clubs last time out, and for Spokane, they had to do it in long fashion against Tormenta.
Spokane did a really good job at staying composed, not only through 90 minutes, but 120 minutes. They concede early in overtime. Mason Tunbridge does a really good job at a composed pen, but yet Lee Wiedemann and his side had the ability to dig down deep. They always find a way. Anwar Pelaez has been massive for this club, stepping up when needed upon. Cool as you would like to send it to 12 yards out, and Moranto continues to get bigger and bigger with the moment. He's going to be a massive part of here at home if they want to have a chance to play for a trophy.
Of course, he was named All-League second team on Wednesday, and he's our player to watch tonight.
Carlos Moranto means everything to Spokane Velocity and what they want to do defensively. Yes, you can talk about his ability to command his 6-yard box, shot-stopping ability, but it is his leadership to organize the two center backs in front of him. Look for him to be vocal between the sticks for the home side.
On the other side of things for Portland, they pull off the upset at Chattanooga a week ago.
For Bobby Murphy and this Portland Hearts of Pine side, it was about having the ability to suffer and suffer together. They had to earn the right to play against Chattanooga Red Bulls, and then a little bit of class from Ollie Wright. Notice how he continues his run when he plays this ball into Jake Keegan, and it's a classy finish. He's going to need to be massive for Portland Hearts of Pine, and they want to continue this confident run that they're on.
And another player that will need to show up is a lad who's returning from a red card suspension in Masashi Wada.
Wada is so important of what Portland wants to do going forward. The spaces that he picks up in between the lines, he can beat you 1v1, he can beat you through combination play. He needs to be the best player on the field if Portland Hearts of Pine wants to come into Spokane and take this result.
Well, we are just about set for kickoff between Spokane and Portland. Will it be Velocity returning to the final, or will it be Portland continuing the Cinderella story? Stick with us, lineups and kickoff, when we return from Spokane.
At Eastern Washington University, students and faculty work side by side to restore a lost prairie and decrease our carbon footprint. Composers are writing music to help us understand how salmon migrate. And urban and regional planning students partner with cities to gather the data they need to address homelessness. Interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world. That's Eastern Washington University and you.
I'm a real wild one.
Once in a while, we all want to go wild. We just need a little help. Meet a little help. The 2024 Ford Bronco Sport Wild Edition goes over any terrain, so you can go all out. Get a wild deal on a Bronco Sport today. Lease a Bronco Sport Wild Edition for $339 a month for 36 months, or purchase with $3.9 for 36 and get $2,000 wild bonus cash.
We welcome you back to Spokane, and well, Velocity may have revenge on its mind after falling a couple weeks ago in dominating fashion against Portland.
It was just such an intriguing result for Portland Hearts of Pine when they did play at home. They took this game to Spokane Velocity, but expect this game to be different. It was the Velocity's third game in that week, in that hostile environment, different type of field. This game is going to be completely different, especially with the amount of pressure here.
definitely more prep time for Spokane as you get a look at the starting lineups brought to you by the Spokane Tribe Resort and Casino. Unchanged for Lee Veidman from last week.
For Lee Veidman, it all comes down to that middle trio, Heel, Lewis, and Meredith. How good can they be at dictating tempo, slowing the game down, and getting the confidence within the side? If they can move the ball from left to right, that allows John Brown and Pierre Reedy to be really expansive, and they want to get Nico Brett involved early and often, the number 9 spearheading the attack for the home side.
On the other end of things, for Portland Hearts of Pine, 2 changes, including the reintroduction of Masashi Wada to the 11.
He's going to be so influential. He has the ability to get the ball in between lines. Titus Washington's going to stay high. He's going to occupy the 2 center backs, allowing Ollie Wright to be isolated 1v1. Natty James, look for him to come centrally, but also to provide the width. The right-hand side for Portland Hearts of Pine within Mohammed coming around the corner can be influential.
Of course, James was the star man the last time these 2 teams met with a brace. As you see, the members of the Dirigo Union traveling all the way from Portland, one of the best support bases in the league, and they travel very well for the playoffs.
It's going to be extremely interesting because last time out in this field, it was extremely loud. Sam, can they continue to be that 12th man for Portland Hearts of Pine on the road?
We'll find out in a matter of moments. It is Portland Hearts of Pine in their home strip, going from left to right on your screen. Spokane in the classic white with blue accents going from right to left. We await Elvis Osmanovich's whistle to get things underway, and that we are in the semifinals. It is Spokane and Portland with the final spot in the final up for grabs. Sam Goldfarb, the former League One veteran, Ricky Lopez Espin on hand here, and this should be a fun one. Spokane has yet to topple Portland, but again, revenge on their mind from a couple weeks back.
You and I had the ability to speak with Bobby Murphy and Lee Veidman ahead of this match, and both coaches were very open and very honest, saying the playoffs is all about adaptability, having the ability to suffer and earn the right to play. First 10 minutes is going to tell us a lot of which team can settle in.
Siobhan John Brown, one of those wingers you spotlighted for Spokane. Already an early whistle as a velocity player is down on the far side. And it appears that's Luis Heel, so that is certainly a point of concern for Spokane.
Not what you want if you are Lee Veidman and Spokane Velocity. Your leader, your number 10, your marquee player, not even 2 minutes in, a bit slow to come up. Him and Patrick Langlois come together a bit awkwardly. A good sign if you are a fan for the home side, up on his own power.
There is your look at Lee Veidman. What a job he's done at the helm of Velocity, guiding them to the final as a 7 seed a year ago, and last week guiding them to their first ever home playoff win. He's spoken about how much those moments have meant to this city.
What about the jacket too? Glasses, looking a different look, Lee Veidman. I dig it. Good for him, but he's done a phenomenal job at creating a culture, creating an identity for Spokane and who they want to be on and off the ball. Done a tremendous job on the other side as well. Bobby Murphy, 2 coaches that have done a good job at making their team theirs in terms of their identity.
You talk about both of them amongst the highest footballing IQs in the league among coaches. Veidman, of course, had his side in the Players' Shield race until the final week. It was really that result against Portland, the 6-1, which cost them their chance at finishing top of the table. Lee Veidman saying, though, that he hasn't had to do any extra motivation. He says these players, it's been on their minds. He doesn't want to overcorrect and make this too emotional in a playoff setting.
He's also very honest, saying that he didn't really know what to expect for Portland coming out of this game, and we're seeing it 3 minutes in.
Well, here's Heel latching onto it. Rounds 1 defender. And it is ushered back to Hunter Morse, the league's leader in saves, who's called an action early on.
Portland sitting a bit deeper, staying very compact. So if you are Spokane Velocity, the ball needs to move quick, and you need to have a lot of movement, selfless type of movement on the top line to open up space for teammates.
Hunter Morse, his first year with this first-year club in Portland Hearts of Pine, spending time in MLS Next Pro, as well as with Western Michigan University prior to that. Has emerged as one of the stars in the goalkeeping hunt all year long. Oddly enough, not nominated for Goalkeeper of the Year, which I wonder if that's on his mind, given how excellent he's been this season. His counterpart, Carlos Marancio, of course, getting some of those plaudits. Nasser. Looking long for Titus Washington. John Brown. Meredith, who's filling in once again for Colin Fernandez, that standout defensive midfielder who's missed the better part of the last month now. Gives us a chance to check in with our injury report, presented by Kinetic Chiropractic, a modern approach to chiropractic care. None reported, but again, Fernandez not in the squad. And speaking to Lee Veidman about his importance, that is certainly a big miss.
The balance between Meredith and Andre Lewis is going to be extremely important for Spokane. Understanding if one does go and be a little bit more aggressive, the other one needs to stay at home and provide that security blanket, because the way that Bobby Murphy wants to play, he wants to get at you, he wants to be transitional, so second balls can be extremely important in this matchup.
You look at the goal numbers Bobby Murphy has overseen in the second half of the season. They're really jaw-dropping. This is a team that scored just 18 goals in the first 15 games of the year. Bobby Murphy was pretty candid with all of us about how he was a little frustrated with shaky goal numbers. Second half of the campaign, 2 goals a game in the final 15.
Chance creation was never a problem for Portland Hearts of Pine. It was the composure in front of net, players having the efficiency to pick out their corner. The second half of the season, this team has really came into their own. They're full of confidence, and they had that little bit of swagger that you need to go out and play for a trophy.
Lewis escorts this wide. Pierre Rady is chasing. One of the faster wingers in the league. Stabbed away, back for Rady now. There's the first proper touch from Ollie Wright, who will be the danger man going forward all evening for Portland. Spokane has made so many high-profile additions prior to this year. Lucky Oprah was one of the banner ads. 2 years with Northern Colorado Hailstorm, a Jägermeister Cup winner there, and it's been the mainstay at right back all season long. Lee Veidman asked so much of his fullbacks, and Derek Waldeck and Lucky Oprah, 2 guys who are probably the best you can ask for high work rate in the league. Get set for this long throw. This is Lewis. Oprah's cross, right at Morris, who collects.
It's a really good ball in from Oprah. In terms of the location, you need someone slashing across that near post, because if you do, now you really test Hunter Morris.
For those that are just joining us, we welcome you into One Spokane Stadium. Sam Goldfarb, the former League One veteran, Ricky Lopez Espin on hand. It is a 5,000-seat venue that is basically packed to the gills. Spokane with tremendous support a week ago against Tormenta, and then you factor in the away contingent, and it sets up a tremendous atmosphere. Early free kick that goes the way of Portland. Mo Mohammed is the aggrieved party.
A little bit of a tactical wrinkle that we're seeing from Portland as Koulibaly's pushing wide. That is allowing Mohammed to be really aggressive in his positioning. Natty James comes centrally. So Waldeck has to make a decision. Is he going to go out wide? Is he going to stay compact with his back line? Just a little bit late in terms of his rotation, but good opportunity here for Portland to really cause some chaos right in front of Spokane's goal.
Set pieces in the postseason have proven a key point. Let's see what Portland can conjure from this. Ollie Wright, as well as Natty James in the vicinity. Wright hooks it in toward the back post. Out of danger for the time being, only as far as James, who was trying to replicate the spectacular from a couple weeks back. Gives us a chance to check in on our keys to the game presented by Ford.
Defensively, what was a big talking point for both of these sides. For Spokane, you need to limit transitional moments. We've seen how lethal Portland can be when they have green grass to run into. And for Portland, defensively, your composure and your compactness to keep this game and keep it predictable on one side of the field.
Portland gathers so much from its press, and you saw them enjoy so much success when they met in Portland, but it's a wider pitch here in Spokane and less tired legs in effect as well, so you wonder how that affects things. You yourself said it, a completely different game. As Mohammed breaks that up.
Also don't want to take as many risks, understanding that your season is on the line, so that is why we're starting to see, specifically in the first 10 minutes, Portland sitting a little bit deeper, baiting Spokane to play, and then when they do find the trigger presses, that is when they go in unison.
course, last week against Chattanooga, a similar effect against a team that had a league record low in possession. Got their goal off of a lovely 1-2, but that was one of just 2 shots on target the entire night. Bobby Murphy saying, I can understand where maybe Scott McKenzie feels a little hard done by, but we didn't break, and I was proud of our side for that.
Survive and advance. That's all the playoffs is, and Portland Hearts of Pine did a great job at Chattanooga last time out.
Throw here for Portland. I've seen the trend of long throws throughout world football. Go short here this time. This is Wada. Only as far as Kamali Green. Here's Sega Koulibaly. Just his 2nd consecutive start. He's been in and out of the lineup since signing in July with injury, and we were talking about it before we went on air. It's a very interesting approach. They established a solid partnership with Green and Sean Vinberg, but they slot in Koulibaly whenever he's available. To his credit, he's done well. With
the experience that Koulibaly has had throughout his career, playing at MLS, playing at leagues overseas, yes, you have to go with a player that knows what it takes to win, to grind out, and not only his leadership, but also his quality on the ball can be a really important part to kickstart the attacking phase for Portland.
Experience with LA Galaxy in the past, most recently playing in the French 4th tier. Here's the captain, Langlois. Well, fans, keep watching all the exciting postseason action as the USL playoffs presented by Terminix continue next weekend. The final 2 League One teams will battle it out on CBS Sports Golazo Network for the title of 2025 League One champion. Go to USLLeague1.com for all of the latest playoff information. Question is, who will join Knoxville? Washington having a pop, but that is well off the mark. Leading the line yet again, Azad Liadi's gotten healthy. He's featured as a substitute the last 2 games. Bobby Murphy saying that the decision as to who would start was up in the air, but he's gone with tried and true today.
Titus Washington gives Portland Hearts of Pine a focal point that they can play into. Likes to play in between center backs, very soft feet, likes to combine with the players around him. So the movement ahead of him, but also underneath him, is going to be a top priority going forward.
Bobby Murphy himself saying he's more of a connector. Azad Liadi's more of the runner in behind. This is Siobhan John Brown. Now Meredith. Like-for-like replacement for Colin Fernandez. Messer snatches this back. And this is Ollie Wright. Into the All-League 2nd team, which did raise the eyebrows of a fair few Portland fans. Messer again. Crossing towards Washington. Headed away by Miller.
Really well done there from Punandron just to read where this ball's going to drop and now allow his teammates to gain some confidence and gain real estate high up the field now.
Masashi Wada has some real estate here. Cross deflected out for the match's first corner. Well, fans, this is the ICCU Corner Kick, your financial success fan club. Ollie Wright to take the first of the match for Portland. Right within swing toward the near post. Stabbed out of danger. Handled well by Spokane, who's weathered the early set pieces with aplomb. So, Ricky, what are you noticing from this opening quarter of an hour?
Very slow tempo. 2 teams that are showing that they're still trying to figure each other out, figuring out where they can really manipulate, especially central locations. you're looking at the movement of Luis Gil. He's going to be the key to everything. If he can play in between lines, now you really cause some confusion between that midfield and two center backs of Portland, and that is when you get John Brown in moments like this, as well as Pierre Reedy.
John Brown looking to take on Mohamed one-on-one. It's hunting heel, cleared by Messer.
Exactly what we talked about. He gets in behind Punandron and Langlois. Now Koulibaly needs to step out, and that is when you can slit in Nico Brett, who's such a clever player in terms of his movement around that 18-yard box.
5 goals on the year for Nico Brett in league play. Has started in place of Anwar Pelaez for the better part of the last month and a half. Pelaez going down with injury, and they've just stuck with Brett, who has so many USL Championship goals to his name. I'm sure you're very familiar with his game.
Scored a fantastic goal against Portland last time out. The only goal that Spokane had the ability to find the back of the net. About 35 yards, a bullet that he's able to show from his shot stopping ability.
Well, fans, scan now and you will win one of 20 unique restaurant discounts. Thank you, Caruso's, the Burger Dock, Flat Stick Pub, TT's Barbecue, Casa Tap House, IHOP, and Method Juice Cafe. We are 15 minutes into this League One semifinal between Spokane Velocity and Portland Hearts of Pine, and it's been a cagey one thus far, neither side wanting to compromise its defensive structure. We've seen moments of promise for both clubs thus far.
And their side for Portland, they need to have a lot of communication between the double pivot and the two center backs, passing players off and trying to eliminate the spaces in between lines.
This is Washington between the lines now for Portland. Out wide to James, who was a dynamo the last time they met. Gets it back. Mohamed. Read very well by Meredith.
Those are situations that if you are Andre Lewis, you need to continue with the tempo, especially with how defensive Portland is sitting. If you can bait them out, if you can break through that initial line of pressure, the whole field will start to open up. So your first look needs to be forward when you do recover the ball.
Especially against a Portland side that is one of the league's better defenses. Just 38 goals allowed in the entire year, and that factors in a slight late season wobble. This was a team that rattled off 9 matches unbeaten from early August to late September before dropping those first 3 October contests. And Bobby Murphy saying that it was just about resetting. Didn't feel his side played badly in any of those, and they've got their confidence back in order at the right time. Here's Lewis. John Brown does keep it in play.
Extremely animated. Roy Murphy and his coaching staff felt as this ball did come off of Luis Gil at the last second. That is exactly what he wants to see defensively. If you squeeze Spokane to one side of the field, that is when you need to be able to trap them and recover the ball.
It is a team that prides themselves on switching the play. Spokane playing from end to end, horizontally at least. There has been a new vertical component. Throughout League One this year, there's been a trend where teams with less possession have tended to excel. Chattanooga, of course, was the hallmark of that, so to speak. Lee Wiedemann, known for his possession-oriented approach, has gone direct at times, especially down the flanks.
They've shown a different look in their tactical approach. Good pocket here from Luis.
Is it wide to Reedy? Oprah. Brett. This is what he does best in connecting. The ball for Heel was well beyond him, and he was offside anyways.
What we've seen over the course of the offseason for Lee Wiedemann, he's brought in different type of profiles. Players that can, yes, combine century, but also players that can stretch and be a little bit more direct and more vertical. So there's not only one way that this Velocity side can beat you.
This is a side that did return 9 players who made double-digit starts a year ago. But to your point, a very different team. Even between the sticks, Carlos Marancio was displaced by Brooks Thompson midway through last year. Hardly featured throughout the playoff run. This season, he's the tried and true top option, and Lee Wiedemann has raved about how much he's grown. Last week was the primary test of his nerve that he passed. It's a crafty touch from Waldeck. It's cut out by Mohammed, though. Wada. It's upended by Meredith.
Really well done here from Meredith. In the initial look like he gets a lot of this ball. None. That's a clean challenge whatsoever. Nothing in that. Elvis Osmanovic has actually a really good angle at this, but it's all contact with the ball. Nothing of Wada. Maybe the secondary leg that Elvis Osmanovic picks out, but that is a clean challenge from Meredith in central location.
Bryce Meredith is the man tipped with playing a big role in their build today. Lee Wiedemann mentioning how proud he's been of his development this year, and a 24-year-old who most recently played in NISA with Michigan Stars has gotten thrown into a big spot the last couple weeks in winner-go-home scenarios.
Covers a lot of ground, clogs passing lanes, very good in his individual duels. Meredith has formed a nice relationship with Andre Lewis in that double pivot role for Lee Wiedemann.
Still waiting one of these two sides to throw the first blow. Nasser loses out here. Maybe space the other way, but Nasser covers ground very well. That's why he's in line for Defender of the Year. Waldeck continuing his run on. Squirted wide to Reedy, who has options as well. Brett. Not only as far as Reedy, who's been an involved presence early on. Michelle Punanjaran there to mop up shop. Lost in the shuffle of Portland's reintroduction of Masashi Wada. They do make a change in their holding midfield duo. Mikey Lopez, who's been the captain, the experienced presence there, has been displaced by Pat Langlois, who's more than capable, but it definitely is an eyebrow-raising change from Bobby Murphy here.
Big surprise when you and I saw the team sheet come out. Good ball here.
Messer giving chase. David Garcia winning the foot race.
Really well done from Molly Wright. Does the come century, allowing Messer to come around the corner. But that is flawless positioning from Garcia to come across, win his individual duels. And he's a player, much like Carlos Morancio, that Lee Wiedemann is extremely high on with the steps that he's taken over the course of the season. The progression in his career has been phenomenal.
Another Defender of the Year nominee who's been part of a center back pairing that Wiedemann calls telepathic between himself and Cameron Miller. Brought back Garcia into the 11 last week for the quarterfinals after time with a former Defender of the Year candidate and Jalen Chrysler there, and they've started to build a rapport.
A little bit late from Langlois, the right leg extended away from his body. Good call from Elvis Osmanovic.
Midway through this first half, still nothing to separate Spokane and Portland. Remember, the first time these two teams met, it was a scoreless draw. Now that came in early April, so much different to what we see here in terms of circumstance. Rare touch of the ball from Morancio thus far. Distributed rather effectively there. Johnny James is fouled.
when building out, Spokane needs more from Nico Brett. He needs to be that outlet, just someone to run in behind and just have that vertical threat. What that will do, that will pin back the two center backs for Portland, because right now everything has been in front of the back line of the visiting side.
Every time the ball gets cleared, it seemed like Koulibaly in particular is there to mop it up and recycle. Mohamed lofting it forward towards Washington. It's marshaled very well by Miller. What an atmosphere, Ricky. It is a small but loud and proud Portland contingent in attendance. Not quite as big as it was at Chattanooga, or at least it doesn't look as big, but certainly just as audible. And we're hearing word as well that about 1,800 are at the State Theater in Maine, as that's cleaned up by Morse. Well, fans, Windermere Foundation is thrilled to welcome our charity of the month. It's more than a home, it's a way to give back. Please visit our site at www.windermerefoundation.com. Well, what a fan base Portland has built in its inaugural season, setting the attendance record in the match against Spokane on October 21st with over 6,400 at Fitzpatrick Stadium. They sold additional seating for that match, sold out in 5 minutes. It just speaks to the culture that they've built among a fan base that has proven to be one of the more devoted groups in the league.
It was on a Tuesday as well. Just phenomenal what Bobby Murphy has been able to create in terms of the culture. And one thing that stood out to me, and we've had the ability to speak with him over the course of this season, the number one thing that he was most proud of throughout this course of 2025 was putting a team on the field that the fans will be proud of. Saying that Portland, Maine is a city that is based on hard work, so he always wanted his team to be the hardest working team on the field, and that is why the people, the fans, have really came out in thousands of numbers and made that place one of, if not the most hostile environment in all of League One.
And he's spoken about also building a team that represents the community they play for as well. This is turned over. Brett finds Reedy. This is Reedy through on goal and denied by Morse. There's the first warning shot from Spokane. Siobhan John Brown's cross now. Koulibaly is there. Now you're beginning to see Lee Wiedman's side twist the screws.
Especially with how expanded the two center backs are for Bobby Murphy, Koulibaly, and Green need to be extremely clean in their technical ability, but also their decision making. Because if you give the ball over cheaply, Spokane extremely explosive. They'll go right back the other way.
Spokane's starting to monopolize its share of the ball a little more. If you're Portland, how much are you content with that versus not falling behind the play completely and getting overrun?
You have to find the balance and understanding. Watch out.
Another break here for Spokane. It's Brett who threads it through. Heel is one-on-one, denied by Morse. The follow-up is wide. A glaring chance goes begging for Spokane.
Just talked about the balance for Portland Hearts of Pine. If they are going to press, the whole team needs to go. This is really well worked from Spokane Velocity, understanding that if you build out from the back, you bait out that front line. And now the whole field starts to open up. There's so much space in between lines. Really unselfish from Nico Brett here. And you would think Luis Gil has the composure to open up his hips and find one of the corners. But this is a flawless save from Hunter Morris to make himself big, cut down the angle. And Mohamed doing just enough at the last second to throw off the captain to keep this thing 0-0.
Just shy of 30 minutes, and we have our first major chance of the night. Luis Gil, a double, denied the first occasion, heading wide the second. And on a different day, it's 1-0 Spokane surely. Washington. John Brown tracks back with expertise.
But just the understanding of Nico Brett, understanding that Nathan Methers getting caught a little bit higher, so that opens up that space to make that looping run. And the double run of Luis Hill as a number 10, picking and choosing your times to run in beyond your striker, so important, does everything right. Just need a little bit more composure to pick out a corner.
A big topic of conversation with Lee Wiedemann all season has been the importance of taking their chances. And when you look at Spokane Velocity's numbers in front of goal, they definitely back that up. A team that's managed the 7th most goals in the league, but still underperforming its XG by about 6 goals on the season. So it speaks to a familiar point of frustration for the coaching staff.
Again, chance creation is not a problem for the Spokane Velocity side. It's just in between the ears, the mental side of the game, that understanding when you do get in front of goal, you need to slow yourself down, you need to compose yourself and collect yourself, because the talent is there, just the efficiency has been lacking.
This is Wada on the turn, and he picks out Messer, who's not shy about getting forward from left back. And now he gets it back. Flag stays down. Away by Waldeck. And out for Heel.
Just need more numbers if you are Portland there. You have 2, Titus Washington and Natty James, versus that whole back 4 of the Velocity. If you do have the ability to get into that final third, you need to be ruthless. You need to be aggressive at putting more pressure on the back line.
To Spokane's credit, whenever Portland has ventured forward, Ollie Wright has had very few touches of it, especially in any area of danger.
11 touches for Ollie Wright, a player, 10 goals, 8 assists on the season. Requires so much attention, which frees up his teammates. Velocity's done a good job at just negating passing lanes into him.
It feels like they're at their best when he can get involved in combination play as well. This is Washington. Mohamed continuing his run. Waldeck is there first. Derek Waldeck, a veteran of USL League One, his 6th year in the league with his 4th different club. This appearance number 139 in the competition speaks to the sheer breadth of experience that Lee Wiedemann has at his disposal. There's a youngster in James. Portland getting more enjoyment on the ball. Messer. Right. Heavy touch from Wada. Nearly took it beyond 2 defenders. Falls for Meredith.
Really good step.
A match of ebbs and flows thus far, especially as far as possession is concerned. Punanjaran. Picks out James. Effort blocked. Follow up. Out of play for what should be a corner. And that it is.
Portland has found success when Natty James comes century to create a little bit of an overload with Masashi Wadi as playing as dual 10s.
This ICCU corner kick is presented by ICCU, your financial success fan club. It's just the 2nd of the night for either side. Ollie Wright gets a chance for target practice here. Carlos Marancio with his first major test to monitor. It's taken short. Really cross in. But only as far as Punanjaran. Messer. Linking up with Wright, one of the first times we've seen that today. Garcia is closing down the angle for the cross. They're playing direct the other direction. Morse there first. Langua. Wright. Here's Messer yet again. Room to cross into the quarter of uncertainty. Wright. Back for Messer. Switches to the back post for James. Denied by Marancio. That is peak Portland Hearts of Pine.
Starting to get in a little bit of rhythm in that final third. Portland is just more numbers high up the field, but this layoff here from Titus Washington, phenomenal. Allowing Natty James just to hit it first time, but a bit awkward in the way that James approaches this ball. Caught between two minds. Does he go with his right foot? Does he go with his left foot? And in the end, easy save from Maranzio through traffic as well. But good action for the visiting side. If you're Bobby Murphy, you need to see that on a consistent basis.
This is the best prolonged spell of possession Portland's had all night. Messer. Brett there to help in defense now. I wonder where the outlet is.
That is when you need Nico Brett to be ball side. Play into him, break a couple lines, push higher up the field. It's the last thing that you want to have happen is just a repress for Portland to turn you over.
Well, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big league, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. Final 10 minutes of the first half. Nothing to separate these two sides in the League One semifinal. Winner gets a date with Knoxville a week from tonight. But Spokane breaking forward. Heel flicking it down and no one there to greet it.
Start to find success when the velocity start on one side of the field and end on the other. That is exactly what Bobby Murphy said cannot happen, especially with the movement of Luis Heel. Can find the blind spot within the back line of Portland.
Heel has been the source of all of their danger thus far, and unsurprisingly, given his pedigree, someone who was in the U.S. men's national team fold about 12 years ago, even garnered interest from Arsenal during his time in the youth ranks.
Such a smart player. He is. The two chances that he's created came through his movement, not only on the ball, but also understanding the areas that he can really manipulate the back line, break lines with his runs. Such an important piece of Lee Wiedemann and the attack going forward for the velocity.
Former League One winner as well himself during 2021 with Union Omaha. Some context here. If Spokane is to win, they would be just the third team ever to reach back-to-back finals to begin a club's existence in League One. Greenville did it their first 2 years in the league, and then Union Omaha did it in 2020 and 2021. Strangely enough, neither of those sides advancing beyond the first weekend in the league. It's been a season of newbies, so to speak.
Really good touch.
Well worked from Brady. Waldeck.
Again, that needs to be Nico Brett. He needs to get to the ball side just to play an outlet into, because if Waldeck can play it into his feet, he pops it into Luis Heel. Now you really cause some concern for Portland. Need a little bit more mobility from your number 9 if you are Spokane.
So let me ask you this. Is it an issue of just sheer physical exertion and running, or initial positioning for Brett there?
A little bit of both. Understanding when the ball does go to this near side outside back, your responsibility is to get on the near side center back so they can just play into you. And at the very least, you're occupying a defender, not allowing Koulibaly or Kamali Green to step in. So the positioning needs to become a little bit more smart, clever for Nico Brett when going forward.
Here's another one of those switches you discussed. Siobhan John Brown onto it. Meredith. Just wonder if either of these teams can throw a wrench in things before intermission. Both have had moments. Spokane the best of the two. Meredith into the danger zone. And Angeron is there to clean things up. And then links up brilliantly with James.
Good work from Nico Brett there. The drop down dudes, defensive duties, because if Portland had the ability to break, there's a lot of green grass for Washington to run into.
His pedigree is impossible to dispute. 5 goals on the year this season, but a former fixture in the Jamaican national team fold 3 years back. Years in the USL Championship as well. Double-digit goals in 4 championship campaigns and 85 goals as well in a career in USL Championship. So he was quite the signing when he joined the club in February. Just to add some competition up front. Lee Veidman, whenever you talk to him, emphasizes the importance of both depth and competition in training. This is John Brown, and now Brett. John Brown is still down. Our referee waves advantage on. Oprah. It's not cleared convincingly. Heel! Just wide.
Almost a massive mistake for Mohamed here. As this ball comes in from Oprah, you need to clear this up and away, never back centrally. Luis Hill, a dream scenario as this ball comes into you, just trying to wrap your left foot around. It actually takes a little bit of deflection off Koulibaly, it seems like.
Portland may have been fortunate here because it's just a goal kick. But Luis Hill has been the main man at the center of all of Spokane's chances thus far. We've hit the 40-minute mark, and in this USL League One semifinal, still no score. Portland Hearts of Pine, the 7 seed, Spokane Velocity, the 3 seed. It's a Portland side, though, that on the final day had results broken differently, and had they beaten AV Alta, could have been in contention for a home playoff game. It just speaks to how tight the positions from 4 through 9 were, really, in the league table. Especially 4 through 7, though. Just 2 points separating FC Naples and Portland Hearts of Pine. So it's not a true 7 seed in many respects. Heel. It's bundled over there. Well, fans, Elite Minds, unlock your mind, unlock your game. Visit our website today. Poon Angeron receiving a talking to from Elvis Osmanovic there.
But it's really clever from Luis Hill. He understands that Poon Angeron is late in terms of his rotation, so he's going to come in extremely aggressive. You move the ball, you take the contact, and you allow your side just to reset a little bit higher.
Siobhan John Brown. Heavy touch takes him right into the path of Poon Angeron, who's started to make his imprint felt on this one. Messer. Poon Angeron. This is Mohamed. Right back has kind of been a revolving door all season long for Portland. Mohamed's got the nod of late. Shandon Wright was also in consideration for long periods of time, ever since Colby Quinones fell out of the squad in mid-July. Washington. Marshaled well by Miller. It's out to Masashi Wada. Hill. Koulibaly overzealous in his attempts to win it back.
Talk about the experience of Nico Brett on display right there. Understands that there's nowhere he can go, so he's going to take this contact. He's going to go down. Koulibaly, just no need to try to win this ball. Move your feet. Let your teammates come around and try to regain possession. To be fair, Nico Brett does make the most of it. Goes down. Ends up play by the striker.
Well, fans, Lumberbeard Brewing is proud to be the preferred craft brewery partner of Spokane Velocity. Visit our downtown tasting room for expertly brewed craft beer and our food at 25 East 3rd Avenue. Open 7 days a week. We inch closer and closer to halftime, and we still await a breakthrough. Luis Hill with the match's 2 best chances, but Portland has held their own the other direction. it provides quite the intriguing stage for the conclusion of this one. St. Goldfarb, the former League One veteran, Ricky Lopez Espin, bringing you all of the action here in a packed environment in Spokane, undeterred by 44-degree temperatures at kickoff. To be fair, Portland fans used to that this time of year. Oprah. Tell you what, 44 this time of year in Portland might be a warm day.
Anything under 50 for me, it's a no-go.
I'm about there with you. 3 years ago, I probably could have handled it. Long throw here for Spokane. Lucky Oprah has been the go-to in these scenarios. Hoofs it in. It's flicked along to the back post, and there is the opener. Luis Hill, third time's the charm. Spokane leads 1-0.
In a playoff setting, when two teams that are extremely tight, fine margins, but also set pieces can be the difference. Not the initial ball, it's a secondary wave when teams tune out mentally. And this is all about Luis Hill doing a fantastic job at predicting and anticipating where this ball is going to fall, but also the body position. Notice how he approaches it. Always keeps his body open, allowing him to understand where this ball is going to fall, but also just to open up his hips and simply create clean contact. Does not need to go for power here. Just placement. Let momentum do its thing. And what a phenomenal strike that is for the captain to give the home side a 1-0 lead right before halftime.
It is an upper echelon finish from an upper echelon player. Luis Hill opening the scoring on the stroke of halftime. Had two chances that didn't break his way earlier in the half. He does not make the same mistake thrice.
You and I had the ability to speak with Lee Wiedman earlier this week, and I asked him, 2024 to 2025, what was the most important thing you learned in your playoff run? He said the importance of set pieces. We need to do better, especially with the final last year against Union Omaha. Within the first 10-15 minutes, they were down 2-0 because they did not have the ability to win their individual duels in set pieces. Semi-final match here, first half, capitalized on a set piece. Tremendous job from the Velocity.
And we mentioned the trend of long throws coming back to the game. Case in point right there.
Just an opportunity to cause chaos in the opposing box. Again, how many times have we seen it's a secondary ball that pops out that causes a concern? But what a phenomenal, technically sound finish that is from Luis Hill.
Luis Hill, the 31-year-old who turns 32 on Friday. Years in the MLS with Real Salt Lake. That's where he made a name for himself most, but has been a fixture in League One for quite some time now. Has already been at this stage before, and he strikes at this stage again. At halftime, our scoreline reads 1-0 in favor of Spokane Velocity, and Luis Hill the difference maker.
For Lee Wiedman, you need to continue to grow with this momentum. The first 5 minutes after coming out of the break is going to be extremely important to try to get that second. For Bobby Murphy, now it's going to be interesting. The tactical adjustments does he make? Is he going to step a little bit higher, be a little bit more aggressive, or continue to invite the pressure?
Well, the first half, that was largely cagey, but Spokane capitalizing on the big chance that came across their docket. At halftime, a 1-0 lead over League One's first-year darlings. The goal scored by Luis Hill on the precipice of intermission. Stick with us when we return a look around USL League One. We'll be right back on ESPN+.
It's true that a Windermere agent's client decided to experiment with power washing their deck a day before the house was supposed to go on the market. It's true that he may have accidentally destroyed said deck. Now, you might wonder, how did that deck get torn out, replaced, and stained in one day, in time for the listing to go live the next morning? We'll never tell.
At Eastern Washington University, students and faculty work side by side to restore a lost prairie and decrease our carbon footprint. Composers are writing music to help us understand how salmon migrate. And urban and regional planning students partner with cities to gather the data they need to address homelessness. Interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world. That's Eastern Washington University and you.
I'm a real wild one.
Once in a while, we all want to go wild. We just need a little help. Meet a little help. The 2024 Ford Bronco Sport Wild Edition goes over any terrain, so you can go all out. Get a wild deal on a Bronco Sport today. Lease a Bronco Sport Wild Edition for $339 a month for 36 months, or purchase with $3.9 for 36 and get $2,000 wild bonus cash.
We welcome you back to Spokane, but you get your look at the State Theater in Portland, packed to the gills, 1,800 strong, doing the pre-match clap across the coast on the East Coast in Maine. It is a packed environment in Portland as they continue to cheer their team on from afar. Well, it is the League One semifinals, and the first match last night, a thriller. One Knox eking it out over FC Naples.
One Knox almost unplayable when they are at home. Temesakila doing a fantastic job at understanding where this back line is retreating of FC Naples, so the top of the six is on. Really well taken goal. And One Knox is going to feel extremely confident ahead of next week's final.
It's a One Knox side that is unbeaten at home. They will host the winner of this fixture after we finish the next 45 minutes and change. At halftime, the scoreline reads Spokane Velocity 1, Portland Hearts of Pine 0 in a tightly contested affair. When we return, a look around USL League One. Stick with us. We'll be right back from the West Coast.
Whoa, termites can eat a pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day.
Pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day.
What's wrong, Daddy? Daddy? You okay?
Keep termites out of your home and your head with our premium guarantee that covers up to $250,000 in new termite damage. Before panic shows up, Terminix it.
On me. Tell them this like it.
Zarkostas is in, and Zarkostas finishes. Knoxville doubles the lead.
Anwar Pelayez to level it and go!
We welcome you back to the Pacific Northwest. We're at halftime in the League One semifinal. Spokane Velocity holds the narrow 1-0 advantage over Portland Hearts of Pine. At halftime, it gives us a chance to check out our standout news and notes from around USL League One, and of course a busy time of year. A former Premier League chief football officer, and Tony Scholes named president of the new Division One Men's League, which is coming in a couple years' time. Meanwhile, Vincenzo Candela being named the full-time head coach after a red-hot conclusion to the year, and Nate Miller appointed as the head man for Athletic Club Boise, a new expansion club joining in 2026. How about our standout performers throughout USL League One? This is your look at the first-team all-league selections.
No arguments whatsoever, specifically through that front three. Carson Henderlong, I thought he was fantastic for FC Naples. J.C. Obregon Jr. continues to get better and better somehow. Now Real Steven, he was phenomenal as well, the ability to create on himself, but also bring in his teammates. Those three players are going to be the three candidates for the MVP, but take your pick. Luis Hill, David Garcia, Nason Mether, Masashi Wada, the list goes on and on with how good of a talent USL League continues to produce.
And when you look at the second team, there are many deserving first-team selections on here. We talked about Ollie Wright. That was the surprise, not being named first team.
But my problem now with Ollie Wright is if he is on the first team, which he does have that quality, who do you take off, right? That is a decision that I do not envy whoever had to pick these teams, but take your pick again. And it just tells you the growth of USL League One continues to get better and better and bring in players that have the quality to continue to push the tempo.
It's now time to get a look at our Golden Glove winner, Jason Smith.
In the Marathon League One regular season, we were treated to not one, but two goalkeeping displays that directly impacted the standings. Jason Smith of Chattanooga Red Wolves and Sean Lewis of One Knoxville put up dueling highlights, finishing with equal .875 goals against averages. The League One Golden Glove was decided through a tiebreaker. 11 shutouts for Smith, 10 for Lewis. Smith is the winner in 2025. A tie in the Golden Glove race. Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah. You and Sean Lewis having the same goals against. And when you talk about goalkeeper union, how cool is it to be a part of that elite group and win the Golden Glove?
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And as a first-year guy, I've really seen before I came into the league, and especially I've come into this league, and I've noticed that there's the quality and caliber of goalkeepers around me, whether it's Carlos or Sean, or Carlos Marancio, Carlos Aviles, both of them, and even Lalo, like just top goalkeepers, top people. And yeah, it's been a fantastic year, and to see myself around those names is a bit of a dream come true, and a bit like a kind of crazy thing I could not even expect at the start of this year to be even in this conversation.
So when you arrived in Chattanooga, you had a lot to prove. And when did you realize, as the season went along, you're getting the confidence and you're starting to stand out a little bit and you'd have a chance to achieve a Golden Glove?
Going into this year, I didn't really have any expectations. Obviously, if you've done your research on me, I had a bit of a rough final 2 years at Syracuse University, and I kind of came with a bit of a chip on my shoulder that I had something to prove a little bit, and I think that's why Scott really wanted to bring me in, is that I want to have a year where I could play and show my caliber that I have shown in the past, and I'm really grateful that Scott gave me an opportunity to come out here and for me to have that platform to do so.
It's only fitting that this Smith-Lewis battle resulted in their respective clubs finishing 1-2 in the League One standings, a standard that will be tough to match in seasons to come.
At Eastern Washington University, students and faculty work side by side to restore a lost prairie and decrease our carbon footprint. Composers are writing music to help us understand how salmon migrate. And urban and regional planning students partner with cities to gather the data they need to address homelessness. Interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world. That's Eastern Washington University and you.
It's true that a Windermere agent's client decided to experiment with power washing their deck a day before the house was supposed to go on the market. It's true that he may have accidentally destroyed said deck. Now, you might wonder, how did that deck get torn out, replaced, and stained in one day, in time for the listing to go live the next morning? We'll never tell.
We welcome you back to Spokane, where the fans are out in full force for this USL League One semifinal. As things stand, the home side far happier at intermission, a 1-0 lead after 45 minutes of play. And speaking of those opening 45 minutes, here is your look at the standout moments.
It was a very cagey affair throughout the first 45 minutes, but there was glimpses of how good both of these teams can be. Reedy does a really good job at understanding Brett's underneath, so he's going to be vertical, taking that second touch, but that is a really good save from Hunter Morse, who I thought was phenomenal in between the sticks for Portland Hearts of Pine. But this was the best opportunity besides the goal for Spokane. Nico Brett peels wide, he brings out Koulibaly, and you would expect Luis Hales to find the back of the net. But yet again, Hunter Morse, flawless positioning and flawless athletic ability to stand up big, not once, and then getting a little bit of help from Mohamed.
Not the first time he would have to deny Hill throughout the first half, but Portland did have a few half chances of note.
They've shown that they're the best when they're connected, but if you are Natty James, you need to go with your right foot here. This ball falls extremely kind. You're coming across your body, you cut down the angle. Now you don't have the ability to pick out a corner. It's an easy save for Marancio, and now it comes down to players producing in big-time moments. This is all about the body position of Luisio. Notice how he continues to open up his hips as he approaches this ball, which gives him the ability to open up the angle and just simply place it into that far post. Fantastic strike.
You look at the halftime stats, Spokane definitely on the front foot. Portland needs to ratchet it up in the final third.
For Bobby Murphy, the tempo needs to be a little bit higher. The verticality needs to be more. You need to go back to what made you so successful throughout the course of 2025 is when you were transitional, you were direct, you were making the opposing players adapt to your style of play. Expect the first 10 to 15 minutes to show a little bit of teeth for Portland Hearts of Pine going forward.
We're just about set to get the second half underway. Portland Hearts of Pine hoping it isn't the final half of their storybook inaugural season. Spokane Velocity 45 minutes away from a potential second straight berth in the USL League One final. Back underway here from Spokane. Sam Goldfarb, the former League One veteran, Ricky Lopez-Espin, taking you the remainder of the 90 minutes and potentially beyond. And already an early corner for Spokane Velocity to begin the second.
Need to find the right amount of balance now if you are Portland Hearts of Pine. If you do press, that whole team needs to go. But the last thing that you can have happen is spaces getting to pick up in between lines because Spokane is just too good. They'll hurt you if you give them time and space.
It's the first corner of the match for Spokane Velocity. And this is the ICCU Corner Kick, your financial success fan club. Derek Waldeck, his first crack at things. Within swing to the back stick. Dealt with far more confidently than the long throw before the break. You mentioned the importance of Portland playing more transitionally. How do they open this up in the second half?
Need to be a bit more composed on the ball and understanding that if you do circulate the ball through your back line, you actually bait out the velocity, and that is when the spaces start to open up and play a little bit higher up the field. But you also need to show more personality. You and I were speaking at halftime. It just seemed like they were unable to get out of gear one. So now for Bobby Murphy, you ask your players to take chances, to shoulder the responsibility, and try to produce a little bit of magic, especially in the final third.
And we were talking about it. The best moments from Portland have come in the classic Messer-Wright link-up, but that was sporadic at best in the opening 45. As you see Wright latch onto it, and this is Wada, who does escort it to Nathan Messer. It's a cross with plenty of dip. Washington a few steps behind it. That is better.
And understanding the wide parts of the field for Portland. Natty James is going to come a little bit more centrally, allowing Mohamed to create an overload as Ali Wright wants to go 1v1. So he's going to isolate himself and make the field as wide as he possibly can. And if he does come, now Messer needs to provide the width. So now the balance in the wide parts of the field for Bobby Murphy needs to be a bit better if they want to find success going forward.
Poonan Juran. Flipped over the top to Messer. He's dispossessed at the source. David Garcia continuing his run as well. And this is Reedy turning on the afterburners. Pierre Reedy cutting inside. Garcia now in the final third and winning a corner. A good old-fashioned mazy run from a center back who is clearly gassed at the end of that interchange.
Tremendous work from Pierre Reedy, but as he takes this touch horizontally, you need to pull the trigger right now. As you take that second and third touch, now you allow Portland to get more numbers behind. But good transitional moment. It starts with the center back and the recognition from Garcia. This does a really good job at staying with the play and putting pressure on Portland.
It's another ICCU corner kick, your financial success fan club. Garrick Waldeck's second crack at things. And with how cagey this match has been, a second goal, it feels like would all but seal it.
The amount of traffic right in front of Hunter Morris. He needs to do a good job if he does step off of his line to make sure that he makes a play on this ball.
Crowded penalty area. It's headed off the bar. Maybe too much fighting in the area for our officials' liking anyway.
Phenomenal ball in terms of the placement from Waldeck. I'll tell you what, I do not see a lot in that whatsoever. Miller doing a good job at playing right in front of Morris. There's nothing in that. I think Portland get away with one here.
You never know where that rebound would have gone as well. The whistle sounded before anybody could pounce.
The center back has every right to challenge for that ball. His arms are not extended and does not make himself bigger. Just simply beats the goalkeeper to the spot.
We'll see what Portland can do in response to that. Poonan Juran. Washington holding up nicely. Mo Mohamed a couple of steps behind in his attempts to win it back. Wolf fans win big at Spokane's favorite casino, Spokane Tribe Resort and Casino, located in Airway Heights. For those that are just joining us, we welcome you into One Spokane Stadium in downtown Spokane, Washington. It is a packed crowd, the 509 Syndicate in full force for the semifinal match. And they've enjoyed what's transpired thus far. Luis Hill, the only difference maker, a lovely finish off of a long throw just before halftime. For all of the talk about Portland's phenomenal support, Spokane gets overlooked in the shuffle there. This is a team that sold the venue close to full capacity throughout large spells of last season. Lee Wiedemann mentioning that throughout the season, the second year, you'll encounter some dips, but for the playoffs, the fans have showed up in full force. Of course, last weekend, a fantastic atmosphere. You literally could feel the stadium reverberate when Anwar Pelaez equalized. And here tonight, no different. A packed 509 Syndicate section here for the semis. Knoxville awaiting the winner of this semifinal clash. That game will be played at Covenant Health Park next Sunday. Player Shield winners powering beyond Charlotte, and then a narrow victory over FC Naples last night. And I think the number one thing they'll be rooting for is extra time and penalties. Well, fans, soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site. SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats.
The player that has been extremely quiet for Portland has been Wada. Not really influential or impactful. If he can get on the ball, require a lot of attention. That allows Ali Wright more time and space. the balance between those two players needs to become more prevalent for
Here
the
is
visiting
Wright.
side.
On cue, right? Messer. It falls kindly for Ollie Wright! And it's in! Portland's magician pulls them level, 1-1. Nearly 2,000 just erupted in downtown Portland, Maine.
Just continues to get better and better and producing the biggest moments. Ollie Wright does a phenomenal job at anticipating where this ball is going to fall. Notice the bottom of your screen, the little step to his left allows him to take his first touch out of his body. And again, just the amount of traffic right in front of Moranzu, he does not need to generate power. Just simply kiss it off that far post. There is zero chance that the goalkeeper can see it, and when he does, it's too late. Placement to perfection, and it's 1-1 in the 54th minute.
He is in scorching form, and let the scorching form continue. The winner against Chattanooga right around this point in the match a week ago, and the potentially pivotal equalizer here away from home in Spokane. A player who endured his ups and downs from a final third production standpoint in the first half of the campaign, but to close the year, 7 goals and 5 assists in the last 14 contests entering the night, and he adds another goal contribution at a key juncture of this one.
The decision making is what Ollie Wright got a lot better as the season progressed, understanding when to go 1v1, when to combine, when he had the ability to pull off his shot, but also just when to play a little bit more simple, because you look at his technical capabilities, he has everything in the book. He can pull out any trick, he can put players on their backside and bring fans to the end of their seat, but now picking and choosing when to deploy that skill is something that we've seen in real time over the course of 2025 at Ollie Wright take that next step in his progression.
Joining from Huntsville City after 2 years in MLS Next Pro, and what an addition he has proven to be. Bobby Murphy, as you mentioned, has harped on decision-making with his wingers all season long. You've seen the advancement in production from Ollie Wright, Masashi Wada, many others, but Ollie Wright is just in some vein of form at the moment. And now he's starting to feel himself. Washington has runners with him. Cutting it across, this is Masashi Wada off the bar. They've gotten out of first gear now.
This is all about the spacing for Portland Hearts of Pine, specifically Messer. Notice how he continues to be vertical, and he pulls out about 3 velocity defenders with him, which opens up the passing lane to Wada, and his first touch here is phenomenal. Allows him just to step into it and generate and just tattoo this thing to kiss it off the crossbar. Portland started to find a little bit of a rhythm here over the last 10 to 15 minutes.
You mentioned wanting to see more from him when we were speaking off air at halftime. That is a key moment where he can make a difference, and he pops up.
And it's the understanding of space here from Masashi Wada, understanding that you have Nathan Messer making that vertical run to the space is on the cutback. He does not need to run. He just needs to become a little bit more patient in his positioning.
Waldeck the other direction now for Spokane. Lost in the shuffle of this relatively cagey affair, the fullbacks for Spokane love to bomb forward. It's their trademark. On cue, Oprah sees that, knocked off his head. Fan scan now, and you will win one of 20 unique restaurant discounts. Thank you, Caruso's, The Burger Dog, Flat Stick Pub, TT's Barbecue, Casa Tap House, IHOP, and Method Juice Cafe. All square in this one in the semifinals between Spokane and Portland. Ollie Wright 3 minutes ago, pulling Hearts level. And now numbers ahead once again. Mohammed. Stabbed away by Lewis. It's run down by Kamali Green. It's amazing how goals change matches. The complete script has flipped. And Messer wins a corner. Well, it gives us another ICCU corner kick, your financial success fan club. And it's taken quickly by Wright. James Messer. Second cross denied as well.
Just get a different sense of the confidence for Portland, playing a bit more free. Players expressing themselves, the ball's moving quicker, so whatever Bobby Murphy said at halftime really struck a chord with his side.
They look like a different team here in the opening 15 of the second. Right. Clever ball. James. Tracked step for step by Oprah there. Hearing word that Mikey Lopez and Azad Liati are warming up. And the whistle sounding against Portland as they break up the transition move. Washington is the culprit. Two changes, like for like as well. Azad Liati replacing Titus Washington up front. And then the like for like swap in midfield as well. Langlois off for Lopez.
Really aggressive subs for Bobby Murphy, specifically Liati, understanding that this game is starting to open up a little bit more, so it plays into the profile of the number 9, who's more of a willing runner than Titus Washington. And Mikey Lopez, he's going to give you teeth, he's going to give you grit essentially in trying to win that midfield battle to give Portland a little bit more of a hold of this game.
Sega Koulibaly did well to win that. Azad Liati joining the club on loan from Lexington SC. Spent last year in League One with Lexington when they were a League One club. Has battled injuries on and off throughout the year, but his quality is definitely hard to deny up top.
If you are Lead Wiedemann, you need one of your players essentially just to take this sting out of this momentum for Portland. You're looking at Andre Lewis, Luis Gil, just to slow this game down and get yourself back into a rhythm in terms of your ball circulation, because it's been all one-way traffic in the second half.
Oprah. And that's overplayed by Lewis.
A perfect example. You do not need to hit that one time. If you are Andre Lewis, you have time and space to take your first touch, scan the field. Really important next 5 minutes for Lead Wiedemann and company.
A few more nerves etched on his face than earlier. He's someone who prides himself on his ability to make adjustments. Said last week against Tormenta, he expected them to play a low block. They prepared for plan A, B, and C, and yet plan D was out. And this is a cynical tackle that surely will yield a booking. Kamali Green is now being watched by the referee for the remainder of this one.
And the way you break through this Portland defensive set is the ball's moving quick. There's movement ahead of the ball. Fantastic recognition from Chiariti. This touch right there, just to create a little bit of separation, and it is a professional foul from Green. He knows he's beat. It's either the ball or the man, never both getting by you.
Kamali Green, the first Portland man to receive a booking here. And it sets up Spokane with a rather appetizing set piece. Derek Waldeck can almost deliver a makeshift corner from this range.
Really important here for Morris to understand, with the amount of traffic that's going to come across his goal, he needs to stay at home and stay centrally.
Dipping towards the back stick. Morse punches away. And as far as heel, though. And Messer will escort it out. Well, fans can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus, hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. All square, just beyond the hour mark here in Spokane. Ollie Wright pulling Portland Hearts of Pine level on 53 minutes. And it sets the stage for a fun 30 minutes and potentially longer. The first half was all Spokane. Luisio with 2 chances in quick succession that dropped across his docket, and then finished the third shortly before intermission. Neutralized now by Ollie Wright. And we are hearing word that Anwar Pelaez is getting set to enter for Velocity. Levy been mentioning that in games like this that can get tight, his chaos can provide a layer of unpredictability for opposing defenses.
Anwar Pelaez is the player that's just going to throw his body around, and chaos is a perfect word.
How can Brett change things? Rockets that cross right at Morrison. That may just be his last involvement. Wada. Right. Messer with plenty of room now, darting it across, and Liati is a couple of footsteps late. Well, Anwar Pelaez is set to enter. 32 years of age, replacing the 33-year-old Nico Brett. Pelaez himself with experience in USL Championship, as well as abroad in Colombia and beyond. He is a key presence, someone who hit the ground running to open this year.
And he's going to run through the two center backs of Portland. Anwar Pelaez, very good feet to link up with, but his game is a rumble and tumble type of physicality that you're going to get on that top line. Any sort of chaos, he's going to pounce on it in the attacking box.
Well, Velocity fans, get match ready with the latest Velocity merchandise. Shop online or in the team store at Davenport Grand Hotel in Spokane. So Pelaez in for Brett. Pretty identical swap, but as you mentioned, both bring very different qualities. Brett more of a connector, Pelaez more of a bull in a china shop, so to speak.
Now it's a challenge for the two center backs of Portland between Koulibaly and Green, understanding that when Pelaez does get on the ball, someone needs to front him, but also someone needs to provide coverage in behind.
Miller upended there by Liati. Just a talking to from Elvis Osmanovic. We've spoken about how Portland's center back partnership, not completely untested, but somewhat new. I'm sure Pelaez presents a very unique challenge for them.
The worst case that you want. The type of profile that Pelaez is when you have two center backs that are not extremely comfortable with one another.
There's a cross in. Falls nicely for Messer, who ushers out a play.
Just going to cause chaos. He's going to throw his body around, trying to get on the end of every 50-50 duel. But also, he's very clever that if he feels contact, he's going to go down, and he's going to force the issue of Elvis Osmanovic.
Converted the penalty in the 115th minute that forced a shootout. And the reaction from one Spokane stadium made the earth shake. May just be another corner here for Spokane. The ICCU corner kick, your financial success fan club. Derek Waldeck standing over it yet again. Backstick yet again, and Morse was fouled, so that comes to nothing. Well, fans, Elite Minds, unlock your mind, unlock your game. Visit our website today. "25 minutes and change remaining in the second half, and we are level here at One Spokane Stadium. Sam Goldfarb, the former League One veteran, Ricky Lopez-Espin, bringing you all of the action. It's been fun. Luis Seal opening the scoring just before halftime, and Ollie Wright popping up when Portland needed him most.
Two really well-taken finishes and very similar goals that we saw first from Luis Seal, the class, on the full volley, just to simply guide it in. And Ollie Wright, we saw it last week. Again, opened up his hips and just simply kisses that far post. Two well-taken goals that we've had through 67 minutes.
Now we're left here wondering if there will be a hero in normal time. Punanjaran. James. Had the brace the last time these two sides met. It's been a much different game since. Lopez's first real touch of it. James muscled off it by Lewis. John Brown clattered into. And Matty James may get a stern warning here from our referee. Waldeck. Across that falls for Heel. Reedy curling it on his left and didn't wrap his boot around it well enough.
The second touch a little bit too long from Pierre Reedy, who's been extremely active for Spokane just with his mobility. Has the quality to go right foot, left foot, can come century, can go to the byline. Just need a bit more composure in around that 18-yard box to really test the Portland back line.
We've talked about it before in this half, but it feels like you're watching two different matches between first half and second half in this one. Portland could rarely get out of the blocks in the opening 45. They are the ones dictating now.
And also just notice the space in between lines. Spokane is extremely stretched in their defensive set.
Maybe stretched again here. Mohamed. Lopez. Mohamed again in a very advanced role for a right back. Has James in the vicinity. Instead picks out Poonanjaran. And Luis Heel positioning himself very well. Reedy with pace to burn. He's clipped by Ollie Wright, and that's a surefire yellow card.
The amount of numbers that Portland are throwing forward, they can leave themselves vulnerable and exposed going back to the way. That is why we start to see the yellow cards come out first with Green. Now Ollie Wright. Because if he does not put this challenge in, Pierre Reedy's gone. Knows exactly what he's doing. The clip of the heels, deserving of a yellow card to now have a transitional moment. You just see the space that Pierre Reedy's running into with Anwar Pelaez ahead of him.
And that's crucial because he's been their most impactful player by a mile here tonight, the entire season as well. And now he has to at least monitor himself the remainder of this one, regardless of how long it goes. He's also their top penalty taker. So if this does go the distance, they ideally would like to have him on the field through the 120 minutes.
Understanding the moments and your decision making now for Ollie Wright and Kamali Green for Portland. Big test in terms of their positioning, their decision making, and their discipline for the remainder of this match.
Inside the final 20 minutes of the initial 90, nothing to separate these sides just yet. We're hearing word that Pierre Reedy's night may reach a premature conclusion as he walks off the pitch somewhat gingerly. Javier Martin is lingering on the touchline. So Reedy does make way. Javier Martin, his replacement. A player with tremendous quality, has played in the Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, and Rayo Vallecano academies during his youth days. He's got big minutes as a reserve for Spokane for the better part of the last 2 years. It's arced in, it's flicked to the back stick, and Morse gets there just in time. Popped up about a nothing there.
Really well worked set piece from Spokane, and as they try to change the angle, they're just trying to catch Portland sleeping at that back post. It's a tremendous header from Anwar Pelaez. The amount of power he generates, it snaps over his left shoulder, and that is a really good save from Hunter Morse. The footwork to come across his goal mouth to push it wide.
Another ICCU corner kick, your Financial Success Fan Club. Waldeck curling it in. Morse gets a punch to it and will run it right back from the other side.
He's been really good, Hunter Morris, between the sticks. We talked about ability to command his 6-yard box. Has answered every single question asked of him specifically in this second half.
Now it's the first time Luis Hill is whipping an ICCU corner kick. It's another inviting ball. Miller got ahead to it. And just a goal kick in the end. Well, fans, Lumberbeard Brewing is proud to be the preferred craft brewery partner of USL Spokane. Visit our downtown tasting room for expertly brewed craft beer and food at 25 East 3rd Avenue, open 7 days a week. Well, here's someone who can get the fans out of their seats. JT Kamara replacing Natty James on the right flank. Player who is always captivating whenever he steps on it.
1v1 ability is what you're going to get from Kamara, a left footer playing on the right-hand side, so he's always going to challenge centrally to look to combine, but also can find that final quality in around that 18-yard box.
A former youth international for Sierra Leone, 23 years of age, stands at a rather unintimidating 5'3", but he's quite intimidating when he steps on the ball. Punanjaran. Right. Queen under pressure from Pelaez does just enough. We inch towards the final quarter of an hour of the initial 90. We are without the faintest clue of who will progress. Heel in the 45th, right in the 53rd. Those are the two standout moments. A match of ebbs and flows where both teams have had their spells of enjoyment. Messer. Switching the play expertly. Mohamed, and now Kamara's first touch. And this is where he's so dangerous. Right. Gets it back from Liati. Just feels like Portland is first to every first, second, third ball even.
Punanjaran has covered every single blade of turf on this field. Ability to win second duels, be really aggressive, and continue to squeeze this game in the attacking third.
Kamara. It falls for Azad Liati! A late challenge that just about does the job.
Just mentioned it, Punanjaran reads this far beyond this play starts, understanding as Garcia just tries to overcomplicate it, but Azad Liati needs to be quicker. You need to pull the trigger there. You take that half of a second a little bit too late, you allow the center back to come across. You do not have the luxury of time nor space when you're about 9 yards away from your attacking goal. Fantastic recovery from Garcia.
It is a potential goal-saving intervention from David Garcia. And Azad Liati robbed of a point-blank opportunity at goal. You mentioned Michel Punanjaran, one of the more underappreciated players in USL League One. The first ever signing in club history. What a job he's done tonight in the center of the park.
Just allows his teammates around him to express himself.
Pelaez chasing after this. Sega Koulibaly winning that race.
And be a little bit more aggressive because they understand Punanjaran is going to provide that security right in front of the back four for Portland. Very similar to what we've seen from Colin Fernandez for Spokane, and that's a massive miss that we're starting to see as this game progresses.
Maybe Portland having their first choice midfielders healthy is working to their advantage. First half, it didn't look like that would be the case. Andron himself, 19 caps at the senior international level with Trinidad and Tobago, and with a performance like this, may just be catching their eye once again. It does set up an interesting scenario. Should Portland reach the final? Players like Natty James, who's been a regular in the Trinidad and Tobago fold, will they be available for that final? I guess that's an issue they don't even want to think about until the remainder of this one's completed.
Cross that bridge and you get to it.
Well, on the subject of game changers, we see Luis Hill depart. Just shy of the 78-minute mark. Neil Vinyals to replace him, and he's the only man to make the difference in the final third for Spokane thus far.
Big sub here from Lead Wiedemann to bring off not only your leader and your captain, but the player that found the quality to find the back of the net. But it does seem like he is actually changing the sub, as there is a little bit of confusion and conversations having for Lead Wiedemann through his technical area. We saw Luis Hill go over and talk with David Garcia. It does seem, in fact, that Spokane is changing. Could see Meredith come up a little bit light moments ago. Have to wonder if it will be in, and Meredith is down.
The initial report was that Heel would be going off, but instead Bryce Meredith now makes his way to the touchline. As you mentioned, that would be quite the swap, because Neil Vinyals is more of an attack-minded player. You've got both your 10s on the pitch at the same time.
Also saw in that last frame, Jack Denton with the fourth. Have to think that he's going to come in and play that wants to play centrally as well. Neil Vinyals is a player that extremely technically gifted, likes to combine, wants to combine with his teammates. He can play a massive part for the remainder of this match.
So it is Vinyals for Meredith. And Luis Hill does vacate in the end for Jack Denton. So circuitous route, but we got there. A long throw here from Spokane. This is how they scored their first. I think they just wanted to make you cross out, erase, and then recross out.
It's going to be a different look essentially now for Spokane. Jack Denton is going to be the pivot point, playing a little bit more defensive-minded, continue to control the tempo. Andre Lewis will be box-to-box, and Neil Vinyals will be the number 10 underneath Anwar Pelaez.
And Neil Vinyals is a certified difference maker. Years with Richmond Kickers as one of the league's top chance creators. We were talking yesterday. It almost seemed like an eyebrow-raising signing when they added Neil Vinyals, given the quality they had in Luis Hill. And when you looked at how the early season rotation worked out, Vinyals was not a regular starter. In fact, he hasn't been for the bulk of the year, but still can offer quality in moments like this.
3 goals, 3 assists on the season for Vinyals, a player that has much more quality, much more impact that would show up in the box score. The ability to pull out players, slip balls in. I mean, Anwar Pelaez can cause some issues for the remainder 10+ for this Portland backline.
Former All-League first-teamer with Richmond in 2023. Native of Barcelona, Spain. There's his first touch. Kamara does well to run that down. Right. Looking directly for Azad Liati, who is onside. Lopez, first time Nawada. Slightly heavy touch. Comes out for right though. And now Messer. Messer again. All the way to the back stick for JT Kamara, who's shaping up to shoot. Cameron Miller makes himself an obstacle. How about the energy JT Kamara has shown off the ball?
Infectious. Portland doing a good job at not only winning the initial ball, but the second ball as well. Continue to keep this game in their attacking phase of play. But it's been a big tactical difference on this near side of Ollie Wright, playing a little bit flat. And what I mean by that, he's a lot deeper. And in doing that, the game is in front of him. He has the ability to let plays develop. He can pick out passes, but also can go 1v1. But it also causes a little bit of confusion between this back line of Spokane, because Oprah needs to make a decision. Is he going to go that aggressively? Is he going to push that high? Or is he going to continue to drop, which gives Ollie Wright the time and space to pick up his head?
Well, fans, eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Well inside the final 10 minutes of the initial 90. And between Spokane and Portland in the League One semifinals, Knoxville still awaits the winner. It's a menacing cross that is right at Moores.
Those are the types of service that Unruh Pelaez lives on. Right between the center backs and in front of the goalkeeper. Really well read from Hunter Morris.
These are the moments where one mistake can cost you tenfold. It's got to be a mental strain on many of these players now. Lewis. One of the engines in midfield all year for Spokane. And out wide to Vinyals. For those that are just joining us, a reminder that Luis Heel, Spokane's goal scorer, substituted for Neil Vinyals moments ago. So the creative onus now falls on number 8 in white. Fans enter the Prinks Tires Family Game Day Kit Sweepstakes for a chance to win a prize pack worth up to $4,000. Scan the QR code on screen to enter today. Ricky, as a player in this scenario of such high pressure, how do you conduct yourself mentally?
You need to continue to do the simple things well. You have a clean first touch, connect your passes, win your individual duels. Because a lot of the times when a game gets deeper and deeper and there's so much more pressure adding on, players start to tense up. They start to be a little bit more robotic instead of free-flowing. It's actually the players that don't let the moment get the best of them, produce that little bit of individual brilliance. So still, you're looking for Bobby Murphy and Lee Veman to will their attacking players to start to continue to take chances, especially high up the field.
Garcia nearly got caught out there by Liati.
Also have to understand the risk versus reward. If there is any sort of danger in your defensive third, clear your lines.
Waldeck hoping to create that danger, and it's routine for Morris. Composed display from him. Seven clean sheets to his name this year, including 9 saves, his season high last week against Chattanooga in the quarterfinal. Fortunately, could not replicate that clean sheet tonight, but it took a moment of brilliance for Luis Heel to unlock him. Koulibaly. Kamara dances past Waldeck. Has Muhammad with him. And plays it well behind right.
Did all the hard work. JT Kamara there. Now that's when you need to connect that ball into Ollie Wright. But he's been a positive impact since coming onto this field.
Talking with Bobby Murphy earlier in the year, he said, JT Kamara, it comes down to final product, but also more defensive work rate. And you've seen him press more intensely off the ball. That has shown through here in the late stages. Denton now carries forward. Heel. Well, fans, win big at Spokane's favorite casino, Spokane Tribe and Resort and Casino, located in Airway Heights. This is where cramp may set in. Mohammed is slow to return to his feet. It's important to remember as well that outside of the US Open Cup during the regular season, these teams don't go to extra time unless they've made the Jägermeister Cup knockouts. So you wonder who can dig deep. You saw it with Spokane a week ago. They went the full 120, but Portland has not done that since the US Open Cup, the second round triumph over Hartford Athletic. That was in early April, so it's been quite some time since they've had to go the distance. Competition, Portland making the run to the third round, upsetting championship side Hartford on penalties in that. Jake Keegan scoring a dramatic extra time equalizer to force the shootout. He is a player on Bobby Murphy's bench today. Denton has plenty of willing runners with him. And he picks out Lucky Oprah, whose cross is far too tight on Morris.
This ball needs to be pulled out from Oprah. You need to aim for the top of that 6-yard box because you have about 5 players crashing towards that goal mouth. Jack Denton did a really good job at picking the ball in a half turn, allowing the play to develop. But that is that final quality that needs to be a bit cleaner for Spokane in this second half.
Final 90 seconds of the initial 90. And barring late heroics, we may be in for a long night. Lofted over the top. Vignal's giving chase. Mo Mohammed gets back in plenty of time. Denton. Javier Martin. And it feels like they're overthinking it now in the final third.
You need to continue to play simple, especially as heavy legs start to set in, decision making starts to lack, but also ball retention becomes that much more important because you exert a lot more energy when you're starting to chase and gaps start to open up, and that's when teams can really start to penetrate. That goes back to continue to keep it simple when in possession for the remainder of this match.
Well, stoppage time is presented by Coeur d'Alene Casino Resort and Hotel. 5 minutes. So still time for one of these two sides to find that late winner. And free kick now for Portland. These are the moments where things can get nervy if you're Spokane. Cameron Miller shown the yellow card. It gives Ollie Wright a chance to play in one more tantalizing delivery. Suspense mounts here in Spokane. And the delivery rather underwhelming. As far as Kamali Green, though. And this is Ollie Wright. Lewis. Oprah giving chase. And the numbers flood forward for velocity. Martin. A square ball with space to shoot. An awkward deflection, but out for just a corner.
We've seen Andre Lewis score some fantastic goals from distance. First touch lets him down just a little bit, which allows the Portland players just to get in a better body position. Molly Green doing a good job of keeping his hands behind his back and pushing it wide.
Of course, a handball is what yielded them the equalizer. It sets up another ICCU corner kick, your Financial Success Fan Club. Vignals within swing. It's not a bad ball, but comfortably out of danger. They're only as far as Lewis.
Smart from Andre Lewis. Not to try to go quick, allow Oprah to come across. And now you have another ability to whip this thing into a dangerous area.
This would be quite the distance for a long throw, wouldn't it? Lucky Oprah getting one more chance to cause havoc. He does hoof it long. It's flicked on nicely. And in the end, right at Morse. Well, they won the first ball. Sega Koulibaly is dealing with a nagging issue. Remember, he's battled injuries all season long at center back. Sean Vinberg is available on the bench if Portland opts to make a change.
Bit awkward here from Koulibaly, the way that he lands. As Hunter Moore secures this ball. Favorite seems to be that left leg of his. Had himself a very strong game for the 95 minutes that we've played. Done a good job at stepping in, whether it is or Pelias, Nico Brett, making their life extremely difficult.
Bobby Murphy has a wry smile on his face. Looks like Koulibaly may try and soldier it. It's just his fourth start since returning from the latest absence, which was 6 games. Helps to run off the knock. He's best known for those 3 years with LA Galaxy. A memorable moment where he scored the winner in El Trafico in 2022. El Trafico, I should say. So now, back on the pitch, looking to play through this. We're now beyond the added 5 minutes. Lopez. Kamara chasing after it. And he fouls Miller pretty assertively in the process.
Saw that coming from a mile away. Just no need to go that aggressively from Kamara. Very lucky if he gets away with this without seeing yellow, and does seem like Elvis Osmanovic does have a yellow card in his hand.
And he is shown the yellow. He is someone who, in the past, has been known to be fiery on the pitch. Looking a tone-setting challenge in the 96th minute.
Love the emotion, but you have to have the ability to channel that emotion in the right fashion. That's something that Kamara continues to try to grow in throughout his professional career.
How much time is left is the real question. Stoppage after stoppage in these 5 minutes. Spokane have time to conjure one final break. Ranciel bashing it long, and the full-time whistle sounds. Partner, 30 more minutes on hand in what already has been a fun one.
This is when the big-time players will stand up and shoulder that responsibility, but you have to find the balance and understanding when to be aggressive, but also you cannot leave yourself vulnerable between the ears is everything for the remaining 30 minutes that we're going to play.
Well, there are fans in Portland at 11 p.m. Eastern who will be up for 30 minutes plus. At the end of 90 minutes, the score reads 1-1. We'll be right back with the start of extra time here from Spokane.
De vez en cuando, todos queremos soltarnos. Solo necesitamos un poco de ayuda. Conozca Un Poco de Ayuda. El Ford Bronco Sport Wild Edition 2024 pasa por cualquier terreno para que puedas darlo todo. Obtén una gran oferta en una Bronco Sport hoy mismo. Arrienda una Bronco Sport Wild Edition por $339 al mes por 36 meses o cómpralo con 3.9 por 36 y obtén $2,000 de bono Wild.
At Eastern Washington University, students and faculty work side by side to restore a lost prairie and decrease our carbon footprint. Composers are writing music to help us understand how salmon migrate. And urban and regional planning students partner with cities to gather the data they need to address homelessness. Interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world. That's Eastern Washington University and you.
We welcome you back to Spokane, Washington, where we are just about set for the start of extra time between Spokane Velocity and Portland Hearts of Pine. And now that we have this quick breather, gives us an opportunity to look back at the 90 minutes that just transpired. A goal on either side of halftime and a fun one overall.
The second half was a lot better. Players stepping up and producing well-taken goals.
That was goal 11 of the season for Ollie Wright. Here is your look at how the full-time stats shook out.
The second half, whatever that Bobby Murphy and Lee Wiedemann said, the game starts to open up. Players start to seem a little bit more free. They settled into this game. Now for the remainder 30 minutes, it's going to come down to ball retention, making the other team start to chase, let heavy legs start to set in, which gaps start to open up, and then it comes down to being clinical and being composed in the final chances when your opportunity arises.
Well, for the second straight night in Spokane, second straight week, I should say, in Spokane, we head to an additional 30 minutes. A week ago, it took a penalty shootout to separate Spokane from South Georgia Tormenta. They hope here tonight that they can find a winner and see it out. Meanwhile, for Portland, looking to continue what has been a Cinderella story throughout their first year of existence, a club that started the year in a bit of a shaky vein of form, got hot at the right time in late August through September, and they find themselves with a chance to reach their first ever USL League One final at the first time of asking. Sam Goldfarb, the former League One veteran, Ricky Lopez-Espin on hand. Watch it, drink it in. This will be a fun 30 minutes to determine who meets Knoxville in the Smoky Mountains a week from today. Spokane now from right to left, Portland from left to right. And Elvis Osmanovic will get us back underway in a matter of seconds. It is a Portland side that, as we mentioned, did play a full 120 minutes in the U.S. Open Cup back in April against Hartford Athletic. They won on penalties. That a home match, but it was before Fitzpatrick Stadium was ready. Much different context now, late in the year, with pressure at the highest it's ever been. Spokane, as we've already mentioned, no stranger to this scenario. They went the distance a week ago. We got a chance to talk about how you handle the late periods of a 90-minute match. How, as a player, do you budget your stamina through 120?
You don't, right? The messaging for every single one of these players is you need to sell out. This is the 30 minutes that your season is riding on. If you have an opportunity to empty the tank, you need to go. You cannot allow yourself to try to be conservative and just say, okay, in the second part of this extra time, that is when I'm going to tap into that next gear. You need to go full throttle. You need to sell at every single opportunity, because that can be the difference of continuing on and ending your season.
It was a match in which chances were few and far between. Luis Hill opening the scoring on 45 minutes, Wright equalizing shortly after the break. This is cut across towards Vinyals, and Mikey Lopez is there first. Here is the magician, Ollie Wright. His 53rd minute equalizer is ultimately what forced an extra period of play.
Watch out here.
Numbers breaking the other direction. And this is JT Kamara. Kamara, and it's in! The substitute stuns Spokane! 2-1 Portland! Astonishing.
Sometimes you wanted a little bit more, and this is all about Wada continuing to keep it alive, and now the whole field starts to open up. Left footer, Kamara has one thing on his mind. Notice how he slows himself down, which allows Waldeck to push off a little bit, and he creates that half window of separation. That's all he needs. Using the defender to shield Marancio, and that is a flawless finish. Just wrap his left foot around it and kiss that side net. Phenomenal individual goal from JT Kamara to give Portland the lead.
The 23-year-old making the difference. Spokane surging the other way, and it's back to Morse. We spoke about how Bobby Murphy, earlier in the year, spent time emphasizing with JT Kamara, final product, final product. How's that for final product?
Just fantastic composure, understanding the tempo that he makes his run at. Because if he was going to go 100%, 100 miles per hour, Waldeck was just going to step in. As he slows himself down, the defender's dropping off, he's dropping off, and that is exactly what JT Kamara wants, because that gives him the real estate to shift it to his preferred left foot, open up that far post. Tremendous goal.
6th of the league season for JT Kamara, a native of Sierra Leone who's bounced in and out of the lineup all year long. Comes on as a second half substitute, and right after the restart, powers Portland ahead for the first time tonight. It is important to note, Spokane in this position literally a week ago, and they found a penalty kick equalizer 5 minutes from the end of extra time. So they are no stranger to battling back. Here's a flick on from Garcia. Cleared only as far as Siobhan John Brown. Oprah. And now Lopez is down for Portland.
Really good refereeing from Elvis Osmanovic. Quickly points to his watch and looks up at the scoreboard, saying that he is keeping track of this time.
Long throw here for Spokane. They've created danger in these scenarios. Dealt with much better by Portland, and Wright way out of danger. It will be an aerial onslaught from here on out. A week ago, Portland was in a somewhat similar position, albeit in regular time. 1-0 up, away from home. They were able to see it out. They do concede a very inviting set piece here, though. Anwar Pelaez was the aggrieved party.
Good hold-up play from Pelaez. Again, if you're Koulibaly, you do not need to try to win that ball. Just continue to move your feet, make him play negative, and your job is done.
Neil Vinyals is one of the best free kick takers in all of USL League One throughout the history of the league. One of the top providers in goals outside the box, set-piece goals. This is well within his range.
From this distance, it's extremely comfortable as well. To get it to go up and over the wall, to get it to come underneath as well. Generate enough power. But it does have it in his locker, Neil Vinyals.
Derek Waldeck is also in the vicinity. Prime chance, though, for number 8 in white to make the difference. Vinyals takes it, and just over the bar.
It's difficult because you need to generate enough power to beat Hunter Morrison. In doing that, your body always wants to lean back, unable to keep his head and shoulders square. That's why it goes up and over the crossbar.
At this point, it will take a moment of brilliance from Spokane. Even when Portland was under fire in the first half, they coped with that with relative comfort, with the exception of 1 or 2 opportunities. Chances will be very few and far between from here on out. Right. If you're Lee Viedman, what adjustments are you considering right now?
Efficiency, that is the name of the game. Does not need to be pretty. You just need to continue to cause chaos. You need to play direct. You need to be vertical. And not only win the initial ball, but the secondary ball as well. So that middle double pivot of Lewis and Jack Dent need to be a little bit more aggressive at pushing higher up the field and keeping it in your attacking third.
For those that are just joining us, 2-1 advantage to 7th-seeded Portland Hearts of Pine in the USL League One semifinals against Spokane Velocity, looking to deny Velocity a return to the grandest stage in League One. Siobhan John Brown hoping to change that narrative. And it falls for the Grenada International again. He wins it back cleanly. Now Oprah crosses it into the court of uncertainty, and it's off the bar from Pelaez. And now the whistle sounding against Denton. What a chance that was.
What a tremendous header this is from our Pelaez as this ball comes in. Oprah doing a good job at just picking up his head, but notice the spaces that he picks up in between Koulibaly and Green, and he does everything right. Meets the ball, heads it down, actually comes off of his left shoulder, and unable to beat the goalkeeper's best friend, which is that crossbar. But he's shown how aerial dominant he is when the ball is whipped in to the attacking 18-yard box.
He was last week's extra time hero. Left it very late, but he did make the difference to force a shootout. Nearly replicated that feat again here. "100 minutes on the clock, 5 minutes from intermission in this extra time period. Spokane got off to the flying start before intermission. Ollie Wright leveled things just 8 minutes after the restart. And JT Kamara with the first involvement going forward of extra time with a stunner. And that is where we find ourselves at this critical juncture of the semifinal. Sam Goldfarb, the former League One veteran Ricky Lopez-Espin, bringing you the rest of the way here, whether that is 120 minutes or even beyond that into a shootout. Oprah, and he was out of bounds. You have the same look on your face that he does.
It was an offside call, or the ball was out of bounds.
Called it offside, it appears.
Yeah, thousands in attendance here do not agree with it. Neither does Oprah nor myself.
You can add me to that list too.
Intriguing for Spokane Velocity. As you mentioned it last week, in a very similar position, so there's not going to be a lot of panic in this side. Lead Veman very proud of the composure and the professionalism shown to not only play 90 minutes, but continue to play till 120 and finally find the equalizer to send it to pens.
Pelaez. Vinyals. A rare pocket of space for him. The ball glued to his feet like a magnet, and finally it comes loose. Punanjaran. Acres of space now for Kamara. Turns beyond one, cutting it across towards right. He does recycle it now for Hearts. And a chance for Portland to alleviate some of that pressure as well. Messer was in plenty of space there. Vinyals. Siobhan John Brown, now room for Waldeck. This is Derek Waldeck. A terrific recovery from Wada. And the second cross is right at Hunter Morris. There were appeals for a handball on that first cross. But that's how Spokane equalized a week ago. Handball against Mikel Rashid in the dying embers of extra time. Oprah. Martin doesn't continue his run. Right, way out of danger.
Over the last 5 minutes, Spokane has done a good job of getting themselves into that final third, but the quality just hasn't been there. That is when you need either Waldeck or Oprah to pick up their head and just initially bypass the pressure. Because if you do, Anwar Pelaez has made really good movements in between both center backs.
Directness, the name of the game now for Spokane. Inching towards the final minute of the first half of extra time. Denton. Garcia. Options for Oprah to play into. Cross didn't have enough mustard on it. And the anxiety in the venue is palpable now. Punanjaran. Right. Plays out of a tight corridor well. Just be 1 minute of added time in this first half of extra time. Denton ushers it wide, flashed across from Waldeck, and no one there in white to greet it.
Caught between two minds. Waldeck is, as this ball comes across, can either go on his own, but he elects to go the unselfish route and try to bend it towards that far post, but that is when you need someone to sell out. Pelaez crashes across that near post. Just notice the right side of your screen as this play developed, the amount of white jerseys getting caught with their hands in their heads. Getting caught on their heels. You need someone to make that secondary action. Neil Vinyals If you do, it's 1-1, or 2-2, excuse me.
You wonder how much they'll look back on that chance as a potential leveling moment, especially if this turns out to be a heartbreaking night. Siobhan John Brown curling it, and pretty tame at the end of things. There is the halftime whistle in extra time. And Ricky, JT Kamara is in line to be the hero.
And if you are Bobby Murphy, it's all about your defensive efforts now. All 11 players behind the ball, inviting the contact, inviting the pressure, clearing your lines, risk versus reward. And for Lead Veman, you found success when the tempo was quick, when the ball was moving, and you're really expansive in your positioning. Continue that in this second extra time.
Well, Ricky, it gives us an opportunity to view our difference-making moment, and JT Kamara with a spectacular from long range.
First, it starts with water to keep this play alive, but just notice your pace, or lack thereof, that JT Kamara runs at. As he continues to slow off, he's just continuing to backpedal into Waldeck, and all he needs is a half of a yard to shift it to his left foot, and that is a fantastic finish. What a fantastic angle that is, just to find that side net. It's a great goal from Kamara.
The 23-year-old in line to be the hero if Portland can see this out. So many stakes at play in these final 15 minutes, and when you think about the parallels between last season and this one, Portland could be the second straight 7 seed in its inaugural season to reach the USL League One final. But Bobby Murphy understands there is still plenty of work left to be done. Well, what do you think Bobby Murphy is saying to his side in the huddle right now?
Give everything. Give everything that you have. Dig down deep. Show the heart. Show the personality. What you need to advance into playing first trophy, and it starts with your defensive efforts. You need to stay compact. You need to keep everything in front of you and understand it's not the initial ball, it's the secondary ball that can really hurt you. So Mikey Lopez needs to show leadership. Punandron needs to cover every single blade of turf again. And for Lead Veman, tempo, tempo, tempo. The ball needs to move quick. The ball needs to provide the width and get balls into dangerous areas just to cause some chaos.
You saw Bobby Murphy moments ago. In his first year, of course, with Portland, this club in its inaugural season has a chance to take Portland and coach in his first ever professional final as a head coach. Last season, reached the Western Conference final, and MLS Next Pro with St. Louis City 2 did a phenomenal job in his 2 years there. But if they are to win, it would be his first chance to coach in a professional final. So beyond Portland making history, it would be a little bit of personal history for him as well.
But also understanding that if you are Bobby Murphy, that you're going to expect everything from Spokane. So transitional, that can be something that if you find that third, you can put this game to bed, playing directly into Liati, and that is exactly what the type of profile that he gives you, legs to stretch the game. So if they have the ability to recover the ball, their first look needs to be forward.
A week ago, they opted to focus more on sitting on that lead against a Chattanooga side that was throwing the kitchen sink at them. Will this be a similar scenario, or can they potentially exploit Spokane on the counter? We'll find out in a matter of moments. Carlos Marancio hoping to encourage his side forward to find an equalizer. He's one of the key leaders of this Spokane squad. Of course, a year ago in this semifinal, did not play at Ford Madison, was Brooks Thompson's backup. He has grown so much in the offseason and through this year, emerging as one of the top goalkeepers in the league. He's been beaten twice and needs support from his teammates going forward now. Two changes for Spokane Velocity as they look to find a leveler. Marky Hernandez and Jalen Chrysler into the action. Hernandez scored the opener on decision day against Union Omaha. Back on our way for the second half of extra time. Portland hoping to make history in its inaugural season. Spokane looking to force the shootout. Knoxville awaits the winner in the final. The two to make way were Siobhan John Brown and Lucky Oprah. Here's Hernandez's first touch. His tenure with Northern Colorado Hailstorm ended at the hands of Spokane Velocity in the quarterfinals a year ago. Spent the bulk of the year as a reserve, but has had magical moments as a substitute. This is played into a dangerous area. Knocked away by Mohammed. Waldeck. Found Pelaez, but he didn't have room to uncork. It is an interesting gamble here for Lee Wiedemann. Last week did bring on a center back for a key attacking player, just in pursuit of knockdowns and second balls. That has to be the logic here as well.
Christopher comes in, he's going to give you a big body to play into. Right side of your screen, he's going to sit right next to Anwar Pelaez.
There's a flick on here towards Pelaez, who went for the bicycle kick, and the referee sounds the whistle against Spokane. Seka Koulibaly is still slow to return to his feet.
Tries to go for this spectacular Pelaez as this ball comes in. Falls kindly to him, but really brave from Koulibaly. Second look, doesn't even seem like there is contact. Or nearly from Koulibaly, the center back, really brave. Does take his head into it because it falls invitingly to Pelaez to try to go for this spectacular.
He's been a warrior tonight, dealing with what appeared to be a leg ailment moments ago and just getting assessed by the physios.
Also really good refereeing again from Elvis Osmanovic. Stop play immediately if there is potential of a head injury. Top priority is the health of all of these professional players.
When you look at the numbers, we talked a lot about how Spokane this year has underperformed its XG by over 6 goals. They've underperformed their XG tonight by over a goal. They have a 2.08 to 0.83 advantage in that regard. Portland, though, just so clinical when it's mattered. Koulibaly is back in the fray and good to continue, so a pleasant sight for Portland fans. Garcia. Chrysler. Just beyond the reach of Waldeck. Every second of gamesmanship draws boos from the home crowd. Vinyals. Weaving through traffic, and he has won a free kick for Spokane.
As he cuts in, just notice Kamara, the right leg of Vinyals is actually inviting the contact. He drags it, he goes down. Another opportunity for Spokane just to put this thing into the mixer right in front of Hunter Moores.
Vinyals on his favorite right. It is headed on and just over the bar.
Not the best location in terms of the service from Vinyals. Asking a lot of your teammates. We're about 15 yards out. Coming away from goal to generate power to beat goalkeeper, the quality of Hunter Moores.
10 minutes in stoppage time is all that separates Portland Hearts of Pine from the USL League One final. There are fans in the State Theater in Portland packing it beyond 11:30 Eastern time, urging their beloved Hearts on. There are 5,000 strong here, the bulk of which are supporting Spokane, hoping that that does not transpire. Garcia into the mixer. Koulibaly heads away, and he's fouled in the process. Safe to say he doesn't agree with the decision.
The right arm from Miller extended away from his body, trying to make himself bigger and get the right body position. That is where the experience of Koulibaly sets in. Goes down, drains a little bit more clock, allows his team to press the reset button and gain some real estate high up the field.
Morse as well, not on a yellow card, so he can afford to take one if he chooses down the stretch here. It was minute 115 where Spokane found their equalizer from the spot. They won the penalty a minute prior to that. The lightning strike twice. Chrysler's flick on. Wada out of trouble. Kamara does run it down and keeps it in play masterfully. And he was fouled as well.
Just a work rate of JT Kamara's changed the complexion of this game. Yes, he scores the goal, but that is phenomenal work to keep it alive, to beat Derek Waldeck to the ball and take the foul as well. What a tremendous performance we've seen from an impact sub for Portland.
Bobby Murphy must be so proud of him right now.
Tactically, Bobby Murphy's done a good job as well in terms of the positioning on the wide parts of the field. Ollie Wright a bit deeper. JT Kamara coming in with his verticality. Some real issues for the Spokane back line.
I wonder, as this wears on, does Lee Wiedemann take a gamble, make any further changes in an attempt to reverse this? He's used the bulk of his subs already. Now Wright is down. Maybe some cramp setting in. He's already made his mark on the match. The equalizer in the 53rd minute. 2 postseason goals in as many matches. Lee Wiedemann sitting hoping his side can replicate the late game dramatics of last week. And Ollie Wright is going to make way. Sean Vinberg replacing him, and that is a statement of defensive intent now from Bobby Murphy. Vinberg is not just any defender. He started a large share of the matches at center back. Bobby Murphy feels comfortable relying on the 31-year-old to help see this out.
And he's going to sit right in front of the 2 center backs. Play as a true defensive midfielder. Vinberg is trying to clean up any second duels. Exactly what Bobby Murphy needs for the remainder of this game.
Joining the club from Central Valley Fuego this offseason. Has a chance to play in the USL League One final if they can see this out. Garcia. Arcing it in again. Kamara scuffs the clearance, but may just run it out of trouble. He's already on a yellow card, so this may get interesting. And he escapes justice there.
Needs to be really careful, Kamara.
Hernandez. Much more room now for JT Kamara. It's a loose touch, though, from Mohamed. Now Vinyals for Spokane. Flashing it across! That was the chance. A colossal opportunity may have just passed Spokane by. They fire it in again. Chrysler. Vinyals, nifty nutmeg, for Jalen Chrysler. His ball is well off the mark. Split the difference between everyone wearing white.
Just phenomenal from Vinyals, but this ball falls kindly to Hernandez, and he's just trying to do simply too much with it. Do not need to go for power, and as this ball comes back, Chris is just trying to find a white jersey and not have a secondary movement to crash, but you just see the disbelief on Hernandez. Preferred left foot, tries to go for power and tries to hit this ball so hard. Doesn't even make contact with it.
It was the rare breach in Portland's back line you've seen all night. Spokane does not capitalize on it. Denton. Looking for Garcia. Out for a goal kick. And Hunter Morris will take every precious second he can off the clock. That chance had Ricky Lopez-Espin up on his feet.
That's what you dream about as a player. Ball coming towards you on your most comfortable foot. Just need to make clean contact with it, and it's in the back of the net.
Three minutes remain. We are now well beyond when Spokane equalized a week ago in extra time. Waldeck. Vinyals. And Vinberg with an industrious play to win it back.
Exactly why you bring him onto this field. The drop down, the extra effort, fresh legs, tremendous job from Vinberg to win that individual duel.
Portland readying one more change. Shandon Wright will replace Mo Mohammed, who's been struggling the last couple minutes. Pelaez. Hernandez after it. He upends Mohammed, and the referee does blow the whistle. Mo Mohammed's last involvement may have just drained more time for Lee Wiedemann's side.
As number 14 comes into the center of your screen right now, this ball pops out. It's all ball from Marky Hernandez. Mohammed comes over the top of him. I think the disbelief for every single player in a white jersey tend to agree with it.
All eyes will be trained on the fourth official in a matter of moments. And a referee waves on the substitution. Mo Mohammed is still down. Shandon Wright, the 25-year-old who joined from Municipal Grecia in Costa Rica this winter, will replace him whenever they can get Mohammed off the pitch. We may be going well beyond 120 minutes. Now Bobby Murphy telling them to get on with it and make the change. We are in the final minute of the 120, although this surely won't be the final minute. And now the change will take place. Also, Jake Keegan entering as well. So Shandon Wright and Jake Keegan in for Portland. Keegan, of course, assisting Wright's winner, Ollie Wright, that is, in the Chattanooga match. 5 minutes of added time onto the 120. Mohammed out for Wright. Keegan also joining the fray. And his first involvement is a two-footed tackle. Javier Martin. Hernandez. Back for Martin, who has room to roam. Down in the area. Hernandez across, and there's the equalizer! Neil Vignoles rescuing Spokane at the death! Staggering! Just staggering here in Spokane!
Fight, passion, and belief that this velocity side is never truly out. We've talked about the technical capabilities and the magic that Neil Vignoles can produce. Just so instinctual. How quickly he gets this shot off is impressive. Not allowing a Portland defender to close down the space, and also not allowing Hunter Morse to get set. 2-2.
122 minutes, and we are level. And there is still time for one of these two sides to claim it. Hernandez. Keep in mind, Ollie Wright is not on the pitch as well. He was subbed off for Sean Vinberg. So if this goes to penalties, Portland's best penalty taker not available to take one. We talked about it earlier. With Luis Hill already on the roster, many wondered why the Vignoles signing. He just answered every question with one swing of his boot.
It's just such a well-taken goal from Vignoles. Understanding that he just needs to have a good first touch and get off that shot as quickly as he possibly can. A toe poke, not allowing anyone to get set, and just catches everyone by surprise.
Marky Hernandez booked for kicking the ball after things went dead. Here's Puna and Giron behind Messer. And as crazy as it sounds, there is still 2 minutes for someone to claim a winner. All playoffs, we sat here wondering, when will the crazy match come? It's here. Enjoy it in all its glory. Lewis. Still a minute and change left on the added 5. Martin. Cross deflected behind, and a corner on the way. And it has a chance to be the most impactful ICCU corner kick in Spokane Velocity history. Marky Hernandez is given the assignment. Portland Hearts of Pine were 3 minutes away from a trip to the USL League One final. Now they are defending for their lives. Hernandez within swing, and the whistle sounds against Spokane. And is that the last chance for either side in these 120 minutes? There is the full-time whistle. It looked like JT Kamara would be the hero, but Neil Vignoles providing Spokane salvation well beyond the 120-minute threshold, and we need penalties to decide it.
What else can you ask for? Having the ability to play in a final on the line. Players dug down deep, they showed character, they showed belief, they showed passion. Now it comes down to 12 yards out and the ability to stay composed and trust your training and execute.
We'll take a quick breather. On the other side of this break, one of the more consequential shootouts in USL League One history. Don't go anywhere.
De vez en cuando, todos queremos soltarnos. Solo necesitamos un poco de ayuda. Conozca Un Poco de Ayuda. El Ford Bronco Sport Wild Edition 2024 pasa por cualquier terreno para que puedas darlo todo. Obtén una gran oferta en una Bronco Sport hoy mismo. Arrienda una Bronco Sport Wild Edition por $339 al mes por 36 meses o cómpralo con 3.9 por 36 y obtén $2,000 de bono Wild.
At Eastern Washington University, students and faculty work side by side to restore a lost prairie and decrease our carbon footprint. Composers are writing music to help us understand how salmon migrate. And urban and regional planning students partner with cities to gather the data they need to address homelessness. Interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world. That's Eastern Washington University and you.
We welcome you back to Spokane, where we are set for a massive penalty shootout to determine who will meet Knoxville in the USL League One final. What a thrilling 2-2 result we had over 120 minutes and change, and we get a chance to look back on the eventful 120 that was, Ricky.
Just not much you can ask for. More fantastic individual goal from Kamar. Notice the amount that he just sets up Waldeck, and all he's trying to do is just get this ball on his left foot and have a half of a yard so he can find that window. Varantio has no chance because there's just so much traffic in front of him. Going back the other way, Spokane does a great job here.
But then Spokane pulls themselves level with tonight's play of the match, brought to you by Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Neil Vignals, Spokane salvation on 120+2.
Just so instinctual. The amount of time it takes to have his first touch to get his shot off. Tremendous quickness from Neil Vignals.
We are just about set for a second straight penalty shootout in Spokane in the USL League One playoffs. A week ago, that man was the hero. Carlos Marancio standing up to Mason Tunbridge's Panenka and denying him in the third round of penalties. Can he replicate those heroics to send Spokane back to the final? You got the chance to talk to Lee Wiedman about his approach to shootouts. How do you feel he goes about this one?
The same way. You do not change anything, which what made you successful last time out of you are the velocity. But it's going to come down to these two men. One of them needs to stand up and make at least one save to give your team a chance.
Portland has been in 2 penalty shootouts this season. They won both. The first against Hartford Athletic in the US Open Cup, the second coming in the Jägermeister Cup against Pittsburgh Riverhounds in late July. But of course, Spokane with more recent experience in shootouts and maybe a little gamesmanship going on between the two goalkeepers with their seasons on the line.
The thought process between Lee Wiedman last time out was he had a set list saying this is who I want to take a pen, but when you bring in your players, you look at every single one of these guys in the eye and say who wants to take a pen, who's confident enough that they can execute, but you also understand the rhythm that these players are in. Over the last 5 to 10 minutes, Spokane has all the momentum. They're full of confidence, so these players need to step up and continue with that tremendous semifinal that we've had.
All of the members of the 509 Syndicate have made their way behind the goal for the second straight week. Lee Wiedman mentioning how much he appreciated that ahead of the shootout last week against Tormenta. They will look to make an impact once again. And it is Neil Vignals who strolls to the spot. He is the man of the hour for Velocity, providing that equalizer well beyond the 120-minute threshold. And now he is tasked with taking the first penalty for Velocity. He took his first penalty of the season last week in the shootout and buried it. He was a go-to from the spot a year ago, though, for Richmond kickers. One Knoxville has been granted every wish. 120 minutes and a shootout leading up to the final. And well, that one fan is hoping his prediction is correct, because if it isn't, that might live in infamy. Vinyals against Morse. And on a night that has been met with every twist and turn, more drama in store. Vinyals delivers. Cool and composed, and Spokane off on the right foot.
Really well taken pen from Neil Vinyals. Notice his head and his shoulders, they continue to look down, which gives him the ability to wrap his right foot around it. No chance that this thing is going up and over the crossbar. Phenomenal pen and a great way to set the tone.
And Jake Keegan, one of the all-time leading goal scorers in USL League One, buried his only penalty attempt of the season in the Hartford Athletic shootout. He stares down Carlos Marancio. He's become a grizzled vet in these scenarios. And Keegan rolls it in. All square through one round.
Knows exactly where he's going. Jake Keegan, a sign of an experienced player. Cool as you would like when the pressure's on. Executes it to perfection. The run up not allowing Marancio just to read the body position. Well taken pen.
No nerves just yet. Anwar Pelaez had nerves of steel a week ago, bearing a penalty in regulation, extra time I should say, and then the shootout. Can he make it 3 of 3 in these scenarios in this postseason? Yes, he can. Spokane perfect from the spot to open this shootout, as they were a week ago.
Same location, and Pelaez here. Eyes up, letting Morris dive out of the way. Be a good look at it here. A little bit of the mind games, a really good executed pen from Pelaez.
Sets up Sega Koulibaly, who has not taken a penalty this season for Portland Hearts of Pine. But a veteran in his own right at 29 years of age with experience in the MLS. And Koulibaly coolly into the far side netting.
Patient in the run up here from Koulibaly. And at the very last second, watch his hips, how they open. And he keeps them open and simply just guides it into this far post. Classy pen from the center back.
Who will blink first? Andre Lewis now for Spokane. He made a penalty in the shootout against Madison at this stage a year ago. He did not take one last week. It's saved by Morse!
It's a long run up here from Andre Lewis. And again, if you do go down that central location, you need to take a little bit off of it to allow the goalkeeper to dive completely out of the way. Elects to go for power. Not really struck with any confidence here from Lewis. And the kick save from Hunter Morse stands up big.
Azad Liadi now for Portland, a chance to give them advantage in the shootout. He missed his only attempt at South Georgia Tormenta in mid-April. And he does not miss there. although it's by the finest of margins.
Lorenzo has this one right. Guesses the right way, but it simply just jumps over the ball. Not tucked into the corner nearly well enough. The goalkeeper's going to want this one back, but a sigh of relief for Liati.
Marky Hernandez's chance to make an impact. He buried his penalty towards the top right corner last week in the shootout against Tormenta. It's not quite must-score time, but it's getting there. Long run up now from Hernandez. And he buries it. Spokane still has life.
Takes a lot of confidence to have this type of run up. The walk up, the stutter step, a little bit of a hop. Just trying to catch Hunter Morris to show his cards. But when you do make your decision, you hit it with enough pace, not allowing the goalkeeper to get there. Great stuff from Hernandez.
And now it falls in Masashi Wada's boots. He has been a key presence all year long. 1 of 2 from the penalty spot this year. Stares down Marancio, hoping to maintain Portland's advantage. And that he does. It is now must-score time for Spokane.
Just mentioned that if you do elect to go down central, you need to take a little bit off of it. Notice the pace or lack thereof here from Wada. Never once looks up at the goal, eyes on the ball the whole way.
It all falls on David Garcia's boot. 1 of 2 from the penalty spot, but converting a week ago against Tormenta. He must score to keep Spokane's season alive. We did not reach the 5th round of penalties a week ago. We have now. And it's in. Morse rooted to his line, and it all falls on Portland now.
Cool as you would like from the center back. Eyes on the goalkeeper the whole way, and at the last second, that's when he shows that he's going to close up his hips. Really well taken pen from Garcia.
JT Kamara, who is in line to be the hero in extra time, can send Portland to the USL League One final. 1 kick of the ball. And it's saved by Marancio! The hero a week ago, and he saves Spokane's season!
Just keeps his hips open far too early for Marancio. He reads it the whole way. The placement isn't there. It's a comfortable height. And a big-time save again from the goalkeeper.
New life for Spokane. And now we're into the penalty takers who did not initially plan to attempt one. Cameron Miller, the other center back for Spokane, has yet to attempt a penalty all season. And he buries it. Pressure on Portland now.
This is all about picking up your spot and executing it and hitting with enough power and enough pace if you do elect to pick out a corner. Efficient pen from the center back, no nonsense.
The season rests on Nathan Messer's foot. 1 penalty all year, went down the middle against Hartford Athletic, and he did finish. He must score for Portland Hearts of Pine. And it's Justin! Marancio got a touch, but it wasn't enough.
Disbelief for the thousands in attendance here. Marancio guesses the right way, but just enough power put underneath from Messer and enough English.
Jalen Chrysler. Again, no penalties to his name this season, but a veteran in USL League One, a former Defender of the Year candidate. He stares down Hunter Morse, who has made one save in this shootout. And away we go to round 7 of penalties. Chrysler, you bet. It is the night that will never end.
We're never going home, Sam. Just technically sound from Chrysler. Gets his balance right. Good placement. Really well struck from the sub.
Michel Poon-Angeron. A tremendous performance in the heart of midfield, but by no means known for his attacking prowess. His first penalty attempt of the year, and again, he must score for Portland. Poon-Angeron against Marancio. Marancio saves! Spokane Velocity for the second consecutive year in the USL League One final. Salvation at the death. Salvation in penalties. And Carlos Marancio, for the second consecutive week, the hero for Spokane. They will take on One Knoxville next Sunday on Golazo Network in East Tennessee. Enjoy all of your applause, Carlos Marancio. You have earned it tenfold.
Coming into this shootout, you asked for a goalkeeper to make at least one. Marancio gave you 2. Tremendous character shown from every single player in a Spokane jersey. To not waver, to galvanize together, and shoulder the responsibility when the pressure's on. And again, book their ticket into the League One final next weekend.
Spokane Velocity with their back against the wall in minute 122. Saved by Neil Vinyals. One kick of the season away from 12 yards of falling short of a second straight final. Saved by Marancio. And then in the key moment, Marancio makes the decisive stop. Spare a thought for Portland. A phenomenal inaugural season. Mere minutes from a historic run to the USL League One final. But unfortunately for them, the run ends here.
Just nothing but respect for Portland Hearts of Pine. What they've been able to create not only in between the white lines, but everything off of it. As we take a look at this last save from Marancio, just never seemed confident Poon-Angeron when he stepped up to it. It's a comfortable height again for the goalkeeper. The placement almost centrally, sees it the whole way. But for Bobby Murphy and company, you build the foundation, but this is all about the final for USL League One. Spokane Velocity, One Knoxville. Bring your popcorn. It's going to be a tremendous matchup.
It is Knoxville and Velocity in the USL League One final a week from today on CBS Sports Golazo Network. And if this match is any indication, you should be in for a real treat. For our terrific crew here from Spokane and my terrific broadcast partner, Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Sam Goldfarb saying so long from Spokane, where once again Velocity survives and advances on penalties. They reached the League One final for the second consecutive year in year 2 of their existence. Have a great rest of your night, everyone.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.